Hello, hello, hello. So, today we have the ClickClack 2v2 tournament. Um, I have all the players getting ready to start their games. I'm just waiting on one or two more to show that they're actually available. Fact. I should add. Where is this person? Oh no. Oh no. Whatever. We'll figure it out, very, very quickly. I'm gonna mute again for just a minute while I do more setup stuff. And we'll get to the tournament proper very, very shortly. All right. And I can take off this starting soon thing. Looks like we're just waiting on Nana to ready. Come on, Nano. I believe in you. You can ready up anytime. I'll view the games in just a second, because if I were to watch them, there's still this timer, so I gotta wait for 5 minutes after the match has started. It's gonna be on a 5-minute delay. What am I doing? Tournament management. There we go. They're ready. Everyone's in their game. Matches have started. So let's take a look. Watch this one, because I already have that overlay up. So, some stuff about this this format. This is 2v2. So here, you could see that we're going to have Gengirl and Bunpup versus AP and Beck. Some extra rules that I have added here. We have head bump on, so there's no double roams. We have no garayame. So if the dealer is in the lead in the last round, then they will be... the game will continue extending until their dealership is actually over. So others still have a chance to knock them down below below what would typically be winning. And lastly, and I think most importantly for the 2v2 format, We also have wareme. So one random player in every single match, or sorry, one random player in every single round is going to have a wareme mark. And what that means is that they are going to have the possibility of both gaining and losing double points. They can win big, they can lose big, and their partner has to decide whether, you know, it might be worth letting them try to push a valuable hand or whether it might be worth trying to rush a one-han hand to get them out of danger. I think that that's going to be especially fun for the format. Actually, let me pause this, that way I can... There we go. Put all my resources into the games, that way we don't get choppy audio at any point. Y'all got no fucking clue how excited I am for this. I was like buzzing with excitement last night. I am so happy to have like so many friends here, just willing to participate in violence, in mahjong tile-based violence. And it sounds like everyone else has been like very, very, very excited for it too. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one. 50 seconds left until we can watch this. Wait, did I make the announcement? I didn't make the announcement. There we go. Announcement posted. And now I have to watch the... Where's this channel? Where's this channel? Where the fuck? Pause requests. There we go. I gotta watch pause requests. God, I am not used to managing a tournament. There is so much stuff going on at once. Ooh, match is starting though. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Let's go ahead and focus on Rat Girl. Looks like Apia here. Rat Girl is she has got the wareme mark. So, especially as dealer, like that can be massive to start with. If you can get like a great starting lead there. So let's see, what's this hand shaping up to be? 8-pin is Dora, so she could look at keeping this 9, finding something around there. Of course she has red 5. Hang on, I should show hands. Why am I not doing that? What's going on here? This hand isn't like anything too special, but it's a perfectly fine hand. For everyone else, first off, I gotta say, the team positions are interesting. There is random seating on, so you can be across from each other at points, but also, you know, being able to be right next to your teammate means that there is possibility to maybe, for one teammate to send another tile, or to send a tile the other's way. So, you know, that 5-mon, of course, Beck could have just seen like, hey, maybe Abia needs this. Maybe, you know, maybe she can use it. Also, hi, Emmy. I hope you're doing well. So let's see. As for actual hands here, we have Beck here, 2 Han, and looks like they're just hidden. Yeah. Oh, never mind. I don't know why I was misreading that. Sorry, my brain is so frazzled right now. 2 Han here with the North Wind and of course the Dora. Looking just to complete one more sequence to be in Tenpai. Bun Pup, now called riichi. Let's see, so riichi, Dora, and that's going to be it over there, but they really just want to knock Apia out of the dealer seat. And Gengirl is also, let's see, opening up her hand. If she's just one tile away, if she can get rid of that East Wind, then she'll be able to be in Tenpai. If she can pick up like a 1-pin, a 4-pin, a 4-mon, any of those. These two have got a good shot here. to knock Apia out of the dealership. And again, because Apia has because Rat Girl here has the ×2 mark, the wareme mark, they could end up getting a bigger hit on her. Okay, so we do see a Pwn. Opening up her hand. She's in Tenpai, no Yaku right now. She's gonna need a Forso and swap out this one in order to get all simples. Makes sense to just drop the one there. Okay. So Bunpup does get it. Nice 4-Han hand to start with. And again, Apia is going to take some extra points here. Yep, 7,800 from Apia. So really, basically the full value of that hand taken from Apia. That's rough. Their team, let's see. I should actually be marking the scores. That is going to be 70,200. You're over here. And you are at 60,000. So that'd be 80. Shit. Is that right? I think my math is right there. Wait, no, my math is very wrong there. My math is very wrong there. I'm being silly. Is that 90,000? Let's see. 80. No, I'm a fool. I'm not actually paying attention to the scores. I was trying to do math in my head, which I should not just be doing. So that is 89,800. All right, so now we see Bunpup here having the wareme mark. And a pretty okay starting hand. I am a little bit surprised to see her opening up because this isn't a hand that currently could have a Yaku. But that's just currently. Of course, you know, you can toss those ones out and have a Tanyao. That could be worth doing. What does everyone else have? AP, of course, now has the East Winds. Gengirl, that 1 and 9 are going to be a little bit annoying. I'm actually surprised to see the Con come out there. But I guess it makes sense if, like, she thinks that Bunpup could be getting a bigger hand here. Beck's got a couple shiny tiles, so that's good to see. Some good groups in there. What is that, 2 Shanten? Yeah, 2 Shanten. So 2 away from Tenpai there. And yep, there is Bunpup tossing away the last 1 pin. Now she is going to be Shanten, 1 away from, or sorry, no, never mind, that's wrong. Ryan Shanten, 2 away from Tenpai, with Tanyao. I'm sure that 6 is probably going to be going here, or maybe this 8. Yeah, that makes sense too. I'm sure Beck would have loved to have that, but you know, he kind of needs to draw it himself. I should also be watching your perspective as the dealer. I just realized I've been paying 0 attention to pause requests. I'm very glad that nobody has asked me to pause the game yet. So much on my plate right now. Hi, Rena! How are you? We see the Chi there. Okay, so I see what Gengirl's going for. Chantadora. Shanten as well, so if she can find that 3-mon, wait for a pair, that'd be great. Apia now, in Tenpai, waiting on 4-7. It's not a valuable hand. This is, right now, just Eastwind only. But that's something. Especially if she can get it off Bunpup, earn back some of her points. But Bunpup here is willing to just take this 2 off of her teammate. It does move the round forward off of the teammate's dealership, and it doesn't really change the team's points because, you know, they are a team. Their points are going to be totaled together. So I'm not actually sure if that was worth doing. It might have been worth instead, like, waiting and hoping that someone else, one of these other two, drop it. Or she could have also just been worried with Avia pushing, and trying to stop that. And it looks like Bunpup has the wareme again, the ×2. As dealer, let's see. This hand, it's fine. It's like I like a lot of these simple groups. The 3 individual Yakuhai, not even Yakuhai, because only one of them is actually able to be a Yaku. These 3 individual wins, it's kind of rough, but that's really the only bad part of her hand. Let's take a look. What's everyone else got? Looks like Gengirl is on the move. She's got a lot of different groups. So she's gonna have to make some decisions as to which ones she's actually keeping. Rat Girl tossing away a pair of the Dora. That's unfortunate to see for her. But that does also look like a very easy Tanyao as well. Tanyao Dora, that could be worth, you know, it's only 2 Han, but if she can hit it direct off of Bunpup, that's something. That's some points back. And Beck here, the hand's looking a little bit rough. I think that 6 helps a lot, being able to benefit from this too, or find others around the 6. There's not really, like, this 1 and 2 is a bad group. The 7, 8, 9 now is great. This is just kind of a lone 5. It's a perfectly fine hand. So we have the option to chi, and we take it. So this again looks like it's going to be Tanyao Dora. Bunpup and Rat Girl going for very similar hands. Ooh, and a riichi. Now, that's interesting because, like, again, riichis in this format, if your teammate drops a winning tile, it doesn't really change anything. It just moves the game forward. So if, say, Bunpup were to drop the 6-pin, Gengirl would either have to take it or end up in Furry-ten for the rest of the round. Oh, okay. Actually, both of them are waiting on 6-pin now. That's really interesting. We could see... Oh, it would be head bump too, though, which would mean that Gengirl would certainly be taking that. That's actually very funny. So these players, I should mention, are not allowed to be sharing private information. I don't think that they know that the other is waiting on the 6-pin. 3 riichis on the table. Well, I guess, no, sorry, 2 riichis and an open hand. 2 open hands, I guess. Oh, are we seeing a con? That's... Oh, deals right into back. Doesn't get the Ipatsu, but riichi, Dora, and Dora? Hell yeah, I mean, that's something. Again, it is going to be doubled for taking from the wareme player. God, I should just, like, have calculator on my phone open instead of trying to mentally do math while I'm focusing on other stuff. Because, like, that's just a bad recipe. Where's my fucking calculator app? There it is. We have 35,000. Oh, actually, I should clear everything that was in it before. 35,000 plus 43,400. Also, let me view back real quick. He's got the wareme mark as well as dealer. Seeing a lot of that today. That's actually kind of interesting. But these two are going to be at 78,400 points and for the other two, now Beck and Apia are back in the lead slightly. With, what would that be? 80,000, or yeah, 81,600. All right, so what do we actually have going on in these hands? We have, I'm actually really interested in this West Wind call from Bunpub. I'm not entirely sure what she's doing. Maybe trying to put pressure on other players and look like she's going for something, or alternatively, now it looks like she might be pushing for Honitsu for the half flush. Becca's taking that. Huh. Oh, no, I see. Going for the 789 Sanshoku. I love it. Always love a Sanshoku play. I was thinking for a second, like, calling that gets rid of any real Yaku unless they get rid of their 9s to go for Tanyao, but I always respect the Sanshoku play. Gengirl's hand, hang on. That's looking pretty shiny over there. 3 Dora. Ooh, that 4 is gonna be interesting too. What are you gonna drop for it though? Well, definitely the 2-pin, yeah. Alright. What are we seeing here? Open Tanya probably? Drop these 9s, I think? Five, 6, 7. Okay, Ishan 10 for Beck. This is only open Tanya now. So no Dora, not getting the Sanshoku, not that is too much of a value change from Tanya, as in like not any of a value change from Tanya. I don't know about the 5 discard, because like he's gonna need a pair at some point. I think that instead it might have been better to drop this 7 and 8, because that if he ends up picking a 9 up, he kind of ruins his hand a little bit. But I guess at the same time he's looking for a pair in one of these and keeping that as a sequence. So never mind. Actually, never mind. Now that I've talked it out, I see it. Nobody is in Tenpai yet. Also, the double 9 or the double 9 Dora. That's very, very dangerous, especially with Gengirl over here having 2 of those. That's a very interesting shape. I don't think the 3 really helps you out too much here. Well, I guess like there is a possibility that it gives you of being able to go for Sanshoku if you pick up something around the 5-pin for it. I don't think that it's going to be fast enough to contend with Beck's hand right now. And Apia... Oh, Apia's pushing for a... Is that a half flush or is that a toy toy? I guess we'll see. Maybe both. Depending on what tiles, of course, she gets. Bunpop, though, still does not really have any sort of... never mind. I guess I could see toy toy. Yeah, especially now. Toy toy is definitely what she's going to be going for. Going for the alt triplets. Let's see here. A riichi from Gengirl. You did get to Tenpai in time, waiting strictly on the 6-pin. That's very, very, very dangerous for others, just because again she has the double Dora here. And it looks like Bunpop now is also hitting Tenpai. 3 Tenpais right now, one of them very, very, very valuable. And again, if she can hit it off of Beck with the wareme, with the × 2, oh, he's in danger. That said, Beck has the much, much, much better weight of those 2. Beck just has the better weight in general. Though, that said, 2 4s and a 7 are out. Okay. Ryokyoku with everyone in Tenpai. That felt like... it felt like it had the possibility of being like such a big round, and it ends up being nothing. Oh. All right, what do we all have here? Beck's hand, the 3 helps a ton. Don't get me wrong, 3 helps a ton. I like this 7-8. This 1 and 2 is fine. You could probably find something around the 4. This hand is like, it's not great, but it is definitely workable. APS hand, I'm seeing a lot of sequences. This hand could very easily be something. Yeah, especially with that pickup, like, she can find a pair in this 1-3-5, then that would be Pinfu setup. Let's see, Gengirl. Gengirl could be going for 7 pairs. And bump up here. That's not a bad start at all. Ooh, especially with that, I think, yeah, I was about to say probably dropping the 1 and 2 group, trying to go Tanyao. Let's see. Beck's hand now moving forward very, very quickly. I'm actually surprised to see the 4-mon drop there instead of the 1 pin. I guess keeping the 1 pin for some safety for a second. Again, he's going to need a pair at some point, and then having... yeah, and he would have had it too. If he would have held onto that, that would have been Tenpai with Pinfu, waiting on the 3 and 6 pin. He would have had to have dropped either this 5 or 8. I don't think it's good to keep the second 4. Because then that does risk Furryton a little bit more. Oh, Gengirl is Ishanten right now for Chitoi for 7 pairs. Ooh, draws a winning tie up for Apia. Though Apia doesn't have a Yaku right now, it doesn't look like. So wouldn't deal in. I wonder what Apia is trying to go for right here. If she kept the hand closed, this could have been Pinfu. But open, she's going to have a lot of trouble. She might have to make this like Honitsu? Chanta? No, it can't be Chanta now. Yeah, it's got to be Honitsu. She's dropping the Mon tiles for it. Okay. Keeping that second 4, it paid off. You know, Tenpai waiting on the 3 and 6 pin. And again, with the wareme mark, that could be worth some big value here. Again, girl opening up her hand now. She was Ishanten with 7 pairs, and now she is back down. What is this, Sanshanten? No, I guess this would be... Yeah, that was Ryan Shanten. So 2 away from Tenpai with all triplets. That might have worked out for her, though, especially with, of course, drawing the 8-so like she did. Bump Up is so close to being in Tenpai. But, of course, not every player is going to be focused on just hitting Tenpai right now. These 2 especially are going to be focused a lot more probably on avoiding Beck. Because that wareme mark, it's scary to have it, but it's also scary to be looking at it. Oh, and especially when you pick up like, ooh, that was a very dangerous discard. Like it won't be Roan. But like if it was, that would have been very, very scary. Being the extra, you know, of course, an extra valuable tile as a red 5, and also Dora on top of that. When one player is called riichi and they have the wareme mark, I don't know that I would have been able to discard that, but it effectively passed. It was called Ponon, it was called Ponon, but like that's fine. And I'm surprised to see Apia's hand as well. I don't want to ignore that. Not going for half flush, but getting full flush. If she can just find the 2-pin. God, full flush for Dora. That's scary for anyone. Again, except for Beck, really, because teammates winning off teammates won't really change the points. But it doesn't matter. We have another we have another yeah, fucking, what's the term? Whatever, I'll just say Ryukyoku. Exhaustive draw, that's the word I was looking for. We have another exhaustive draw with everyone in Tenpai. And it looks like now the Wareme mark has moved over to Gengirl, who might be going for 13 orphans with this hand. Probably not. Yeah, I was about to say, you probably call that. And then look for other groups, but like, God, a Wareme 13 orphans would be terrifying. What does everyone else have? So back here, he's got some pretty okay groups. I think that, you know, the 7-8 is of course great. This 4-5 is great. This 5-7, it's perfectly fine. Because you can very easily build around it if you don't find the 6. The Tor 2 is good. It's mostly just like these two and this one, and like it's a little awkward slightly to have this closed weight and to maybe not be able to use the Dora effectively, but yeah, and that Dora's going out there. But like, it's definitely not a bad hand. Could easily become like all simples or Pinfu. Apia here looks like Rat Girl is going for possibly Hatsu and Nan, and it looks like as well maybe a Chanta, maybe a half outside hand. Could be very big for her. And then Bunpup over here looks like Tanyao Nomi. Well, Tanyao, possibly Dora as well. We'll see if she can keep the 5-so or not. My guess is that she probably can, that she'll probably find something around there in time, but of course that's entirely a guess. We see the con again from Gengirl here. So the 5-mon becomes especially dangerous, and Beck has a red 5, so that's gonna be double value. He has, you know, he is very, very close to Tenpai. I don't think the 4 really does anything there, yeah. Oh yeah, and Bump Up as well, having 2 of those 5s. That's a lot of value there. That can be very scary. Like, again, we're seeing a lot of very valuable hands this game. So far, just like, hardly any of them have actually come to completion. Okay, which of these 2 groups do you go for? I think you just dropped the 4-5 pin. Oh, never mind. Yeah, no, obviously you dropped that. I forgot about this extra pair. I was just thinking like the 3s were the pair, and you know, and he had an extra group of sequences. But no, that's absolutely, that makes a ton of sense. Could very easily be Pinfu, Tanyao, many things, and doesn't necessarily involve him getting right in the door. In fact, it pretty much locks the door in his hand as, you know, part of one of these 2 sequences, whether it's 3, 4, 5, or 5, 6, 7. And he could absolutely call this as well. Yeah, so he takes it, he gets to Tenpai. He drops the 7, waiting strictly on the 4. But that is going to be 4 Han for a Mangan, or very close to a Mangan. Well, I was going to say that, and again, as the Wareme player, that would be extra value, but he is not the Wareme player anymore. We'll see what happens here. Looks like Bunpup hitting Tenpai now, waiting on 5 and 6 mon. I don't really see those coming out of... I see the 6 mon, maybe, coming out of Beck's hand if he ends up picking one up. Just because keeping it would mean Furitan. Oh, okay. Interesting, interesting. So he's planning, I would assume, to call Pon on the 2s, or maybe Chi, or just draw it himself. That works as well, and then wait on the 5-mon. I think, oh, hang on. Apia, what are you going to do with that? Oh, you deal right in. That's head bump, though, and Bunpup wins it. Again, as a reminder, head bump is on with this tournament, so, Oh, hang on, somebody is pinging me. Head bump is on with this tournament, so Beck did not get the double roan there. All right. Let me fix the scores now. Oh, that's real rough for Apia. That was a very, very, very dangerous tile. But also, like, with that many calls, it becomes very hard to defend in the first place. So, like, she might have just thought, like, okay, you know, maybe this passes. Maybe, you know, anyone in Tenpai has, like, a triplet or something. I can absolutely understand dropping it, but you gotta, it's very ballsy. That said, she is dealer, and Beck has the wareme as well, so we gotta keep an eye on that. I need to go fix the scores, so let's see. These two have, what is that? 80,000, so it's gonna be 82,000, 92,000. 92,000 for the apothecary, which means that it's going to be a pretty even, what's that, 68,000? Yeah, it'd be even 68,000 over here for Beevil Like the Bugs. That's one too many zeros. Don't have that many. Okay, so let's take a look here. If you're probably just going all simples with this hand, I would imagine, because, like, she can't do... Oh, never mind, it's the south rounds now. I didn't even realize it was the south round, so never mind. She can very easily call in the south here. Drop the east, drop the 5-pin, have this nice pair of Dora. As dealer, that's fantastic. And Beck, as well, doing exactly what I was talking about earlier. I wasn't even paying attention. Going for the 13 orphans with the wareme. If he can hit this, this drastically turns it around for them. Hi, Ren! Okay, so, head bump. Yeah, let's talk about head bump. If two players win at one time, in a lot of game modes, you would just have a double roan, right? But with head bump on, double roan is no longer a thing. Instead, it's the win goes to whoever is next in turn order. So, with two players winning at once, when Rat Girl just dealt in the 5-mon a minute ago, both Beck and Bunpup were waiting on the 5-mon, but because Bunpup here was next in turn order, you know, she is the one who ends up winning on the 5-mon. So that's what head bump is. It's horrifying when you have a good winning hand and somebody calls head bump. It's miserable. So I feel bad for Beck in that last round, but I of course feel very, very, very good for Bunpup. I don't think she realizes that that was a Tamohane. Maybe she does, because, like, they could be talking about that right now. Oh, okay, so this is no longer 13 orphans. This looks like it's going to be all terminals and honors. With the right draws, this could even become all honors as a different Yakuman. That's very unlikely, though. Rat Girl, now in Tenpai, waiting on South and Red 5. Unfortunately, only the South wins it for. But that said, I think at this point, this late in the round, it would be very hard for anyone to discard a Red 5, or, sorry, not a Red 5, discard a 5 in the first place. The South as well, actually, is going to be very, very hard for anyone to discard, because none have come up yet. Ooh, and Beck deals right into Gengirl here. It's not a big hand, it doesn't need to be. So that's going to be 4,000 more over here. So that's going to be 90. 6 and 4,000 less over here. Actually, was that right? I wasn't actually paying attention to wareme, and I should have. Do these scores actually add up correctly? 96,000. Yes, correct. So, okay. Rat Girl now has the wareme mark. Gengirl's hand is looking kind of interesting over here. This could end up being a half flush. I don't know that it will be because the 3-pin is going to be pretty valuable to keep, and especially since it works okay with these ones. So we'll see what she does with that. Bun Pup here has a lot of sequences set up. This hand could end up being Pinfu. And Beck... Beck doesn't have a ton. Looks like it's probably going to be a riichi Nomi for Beck, if he can hit Tenpai. Looks like Gengirl is dropping the... Well, never mind. Dropping the north makes a ton of sense because 2 are already out. I was going to say that that is, like, meaningful because it means that she's less likely to go for the half flush. And I think that is still true. I think that seeing 2 of these out makes that less likely. But I was thinking for just a second that, like, her dropping that signified, like, she is no longer going for that and she's going to be building around the pin tiles as well. And that is not necessarily the case. Now, Bun Pup is opening her hand. I'm not entirely sure what she's going to be going for. It looks like I would assume open Tanyao, because there's not a ton else she can really do here. And that's still 4 tiles that she has to discard. I think that having a call on the board, though, does put pressure on the opponents. I would say especially the wareme player. Oh, okay, I see. So now she's going to be threatening a half flush. So, oh, and it looks like Gengirl as well is also going to be pushing the half flush. I didn't see her dropping the 3-pin and 1-pin. So those going out. What does Beck have now? 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. That's not bad. Yeah, no, that's Ishanten with Pinfu if he can get it. If he can find this 7-pin and then drop this 4, that's Tenpai with Pinfu. Is Rat Girl gonna... No, I didn't think she was gonna take that because, like, she wouldn't have a Yaku, but I don't really know exactly what she's going for right here. If I had to guess, I'd say probably all triplets at this point could be on the table. Are 2-sos? Yeah, 2-sos are available. 5-pin is gonna be hard because 1's already cut and it's the 5, but, like... It's possible. I think here she's probably dropping the 8s though. No, dropping the 6. So I think she is forcing the all triplets. Let's see, how close is Gengirl actually? Because Gengirl is, if she picks up a 2, drops this, she would still be 1 away. Yeah. I think she's 1 away no matter what. Or, sorry, I think she's 2 away no matter what still. So, she's still got a little bit to work on here. But, oh, hang on, are we going to see a con? Probably not, because that works well with this 4, 5, 6. She just has to figure out what she wants to drop. She might even drop these greens and go for Chinitsu instead of Honitsu, the full flush instead of the half flush. Y'all are just playing the one game. Yeah, y'all are playing the one game, but of course there is the losers bracket as well, and the, I don't know whether you won or lost, but there is that as well, so You will still be playing some more, just not necessarily right this second. Oh, actually, hang on. Gengirl is going for all triplets now, it seems. Or this could also... Okay, yeah, no. All triplets, probably drop the 3. Unless this is Tenpai, maybe, somewhere. Actually, I think, yeah, dropping the 3, that is... Or dropping that as well. I was thinking dropping the 3 would have been Tenpai waiting on the 9-mon. But that is a much better wait. Not that it much matters when we were so close to the end of the round. Hell yeah. I love archaic and nefarious means. Congrats, Do and Bonzi. That is true. It is very scary at times. Yeah, y'all had a baby handsome. Alright, so let's see. What's going on here now? Bunpop now has the wareme. I wasn't paying attention. Well, that was an exhaustive draw. Wasn't paying attention to who is in Tenpai. 60,000 plus that'd be 99,000? If my math is right, which it might not be. I think they're at 99,000. Which would make them 61,000. Let me just do some quick maths here. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so Gengirl opening up. Makes sense. She has the East Winds, so that's at least a Yaku. That's something. It looks like she's pushing for all triplets here, maybe? With dropping the 4 and the 6. I don't know how I feel about that, but like, because like, they don't need the value right now. They're pretty far ahead. I think they're trying to get that extra value there. Obviously, if you can get it, that's huge, but we'll see if that can pan out or not. Bunpup going for a possible half flush, possible full flush, depending on if she gets any more honors or not. Beck looks like it's just going to be a closed riichi hand. Probably Pinfu. Yeah, probably Pinfu. Especially if you can manage to pick up a 3-mon, then that would be Tenpai. Rat Girl over here looks like she is going for another full flush, I would assume, that she's probably going to be getting herself out of Tenpai and dropping these 2-mon. Probably doing it right here? Yeah. Gengirl not taking it. She's gonna take this though. Drop the 8. No, drop the 3. Shows what I know. Again, like, she is trying to force all triplets, so that is already something that I wouldn't be doing, and that makes guessing what she would be discarding a little harder. And it looks like Bunpup is absolutely going for the half flush instead of a full flush, and is now in Tenpai, waiting on 2 or 5. So yeah, that is a 3-Han with the wareme. That's going to be a pretty big hand for their team. That's going to be 10,400 actually, plus of course the Homba that were on the table. So let's see, that is 100,000, no, 109,200? 109,700, that's it, 109,700. 109,700. I'm very good at doing immediate maths in my head. Very, very, very good. /S. And then these two are going to be at, that is going to be 50,300. Wait, hang on. Wait, hang on. It's definitely not... Did I mean 109,000? I think I meant 109,000. 190 would be over the point threshold. So let's take a look. That is 100,000, 109,700. Yep, correct. Okay. Math time over. We should be looking at Bun Pup's perspective as the dealer. Nothing too fancy going on with this hand. It could end up as another Honitsu, possibly, but I don't know. Well, I guess, not even possibly, I guess, because, like, she's gonna need a Yaku, so this 3 and 4 are gonna be going. Yeah. So there's gonna be another Honitsu. Looks like Apia across from her has the Wareme mark. So, Apia's hand is looking pretty solid if she can find something else next to either the 6-mon or the 3-mon. Now that's interesting. There, it moves her back a Shanten if she kept it, but of course, like, the extra value is pretty necessary with only 2 rounds left and their team this far behind. Oh, that still wouldn't have been Tenpai. That would have been Ishanten. It wouldn't have been any better than what she has right now for efficiency, but value-wise, it definitely would have been. Is that Tenpai? Yeah, that's Tenpai. So 6-mon, 9-mon, 9-pin. Any of those can win for her. It's not a big hand, but it is riichi Dora. She does have the Wareme. It's also Ipatsu as well. So that's more value. And Ura. 8,000. That's going to be 16,000. Wait, hang on. Shit, I messed up scores at some point. Their team was not at 5,300. Was it 53,000? Oh, 50,300, that's what it was. Plus 16 becomes 66. And then minus 16 here becomes 103, becomes 93. Okay, that should be correct. Yeah, looks like it. So, now we have all last. Becky is dealer. So, Beevil, like the bugs, are the ones in control here, being able to be the last dealers. Again, we don't have a Gariyami on. I don't think that's going to matter here so much with this team being as far behind. Let's see, what does everyone have going on in their hands? Looks like Beck could very easily get a Pinfu hand going on. That could also facilitate that. I was going to say maybe keep the 1, and then you could find a 2 at some point, drop this. You would have been Ishanten, whereas now you're Ryanshanten. But that's perfectly fine. And then, let's see, bump up here. Ooh, hang on. Tanyao for Dora with the Wareme? You don't need this value. What are you doing? Like, huge congrats. You did not need that value. What? He would have won. He would have won the game. She wants the big win. Okay, hang on. I respect the hell out of this. It looks like Gengirl here is going for 7 pairs. She is Ishanten, waiting on 4 so 5, so we're Southwind. Rat Girl, of course, very close to well, not close to Tenpai, in Tenpai, has called riichi. So Reach, Pinfu, Dora. Ooh, that's a 5-pin. That's gonna... Oh, okay, yep. Didn't deal it, make sense. I was not paying attention to the hand. I just saw it drawn. I was like, oh, it's getting discarded. Obviously not. 9-pin. That North's not going to be doing anyone any favors. Oh, but she drops the 4-mon. She does worry about the North, I guess, dealing in. Or maybe she's looking at it for a pair. 8-pin deals into Apia. Apia lets it pass, so now she is in Furry 10. And it makes sense that she would let it pass because, again, it wouldn't move their team up. They need to win this off of the other two. I'm still fucking shocked that Bunpup just didn't take the win and is going for this ridiculous monster hand. I'm actually surprised she didn't keep it. Adding Toy Toy to that, adding the all triplets. Oh, hang on. Beck did not deal in. Beck is dropping the Hatsu, keeping the 8mon. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's gonna stay in his hand. He might end up dealing in. Okay. Getting a massive win on your teammate. Again, there was no reason for it. Like, literally, it would have been better to have won off of one of the opponents than to win a lot more off of your teammate. But I still respect the hell out of the attempt. Like, goddamn. The con with the Fiamon was amazing to me. Incredible game. I am not going to be doing the maths here because frankly I am lazy. But that is Bunpup and Gengirl. Actually no, maths wouldn't change because she just won off her teammate. Well, I guess it would change because there was a riichi on the board, but that would just be 1,000. Anyway, doesn't matter. That game is over. Do we have any other games going on? It sounds like we don't. That was the last one. So, now that everyone is done, I need to add everyone into their next matches. And also I gotta go use the bathroom. So I'm gonna mute and be right back for a minute. Okay, and I'm back. So let me see how the other games went. So Bunpup and Gengirl won that one. We have, it looks like Naomi and Freelance. God damn, Freelance Dog, what the hell? What happened there? Huge score. I'm assuming wareme had to have happened there. And it looks like Doe and Bonzi won this one. So, let me figure out who is playing against who real quick. 1 second. Okay. Start the tournament. Done that. You know what? I should put this over here and let's screen share. So they won that one. Apothecary won this one. And Sun Station won this one. So now we have two little dragons who got the bind the first round against Baby Hands, which is Do and Bonzi. We have the Apothecary who we just saw going against Malta and Naomi in Sun Station. So let me set those rooms up real quickly. And I should also switch back to this overlay. Sure, which one's in the first group? Two little dragons, baby hands. Two little dragons. Baby hands. And then table 2, we have, it was Sun Station and the Apothecary. Sun Station. Okay. Is there anything else that I need to worry about right this second? I don't think so. I'm giving everyone just a couple minutes to ready up. Okay. I want to see what happened here. Where 27,000, like almost immediately, like East won still from Freelance Dog. I gotta see this hand. So show hands. Let's show dealing tiles too. What do they got going on? So Reach, Tanyao, is that Pinfu? Yep, that's Pinfu. Dora. I mean, again, that's solid as dealer. Like, if you hit that off of one of your opponents, that's massive. And also we could see here that this is one of the games that, where your teammate is across from you rather than next to you. So like, Naomi here wouldn't necessarily be able to drop, say like, she wouldn't be able to drop a tile that Malta would need very easily, unless it was through Pwn, which is much harder to read. So we got that. What else happened here? Another big win. Probably Wareme off. That was probably off Naomi then? Or was that just a Baimon? Looks like that would have been... And this is turn 14. Oh, Tsumo! Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, it takes a good amount from Naomi, but not, like, entirely. I'm just seeing Freelance Dog, massive hand, Freelance Dog, massive hand. What the hell, Malta? What are you doing to these guys? Why are you murdering them? I guess this makes sense why I was asked about, like, what was it? Why I was asked about like if a team goes into the negatives, do they still pass if they have enough points? I also just realized I did not have chat up for a second. All right. Anyway, let's back out. Let's go ahead and see who all is ready. That is not the right thing. So I need, who is it? It's Nano. It's Bonzi. And it is, what? Oh, not Medusa. I see. You just aren't ready. You were grayed out. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to like doing tournament stuff in Riichi City for this end of it anyway. Table 2 is going to be Freelance Dog, Naomi Doll, Gengirl, and Bun Pup. Oh, that is not Bun Pup. That is not who I thought I clicked on. So it looks like they're all ready to go, so I'll send them on their way. I'm getting an @ over here. Alice is telling me that she is back and ready. Or that all of them are back and ready, I should say. Against Avaki? Wait, hang on. Yeah, wait. Yeah, I'm not thinking. Y'all are right. Y'all are extremely right. I'm a fool. Sorry. Thank you for catching me before I started that one. No. Cancel that. Thank you so much for catching me there. That would have been bad. All right. Y'all are ready? Y'all can start. And wait, I didn't start you. I thought I did. Oh, not all of you are ready. Even though it shows y'all is ready. Oh, no, okay, I see. So the checkmark is ready. The green is just online. I see. So these 4 have gotten offline from this. Understood. So I'm just waiting on Malta to ready up, but I imagine that that's going to be just a minute. Yeah, I mean, same for me too, really. Like, obviously I've had this tournament page up for a while, so I've been able to see a lot of it, but I haven't been able to really mess with it. So it's interesting to like sort of see this side of things. Make sure to ready up. All right. I just had to send a message just to say, hey, you know, ready up if you're able. If not, I understand if you need like just a minute. And the other game is going to take just a second for us to actually be able to watch because there is that 5-minute delay. So I have no worries about like missing any of that right this second. Oh, I should also actually, hang on. I should reset this stuff while I'm thinking about it. And since that other one's starting first, I'm gonna be looking at, it's gonna be Baby Hands, and left is going to be Little Two Dragons. No, you're not playing right now. No. Because your team got knocked out, right? You and Nadeko? I hope you say that you have been, otherwise I have... Okay. Otherwise I would have been entirely fucking confused about what's going on here. Yeah, no, you'll be playing more tomorrow, because that's the losers bracket is going to be tomorrow. This is just focusing on the winners bracket today. Yeah. Y'all are done for today. Sorry, Magia. Malta, come on, ready up. I should at least have this up on my phone. You know what? I should just do that. I'll get this up on my phone. I have a second account on there to do that. And then I will make sure that we get to see this. Starting in a minute and a half. Malta is typing. So I should be able to start that one in just a second, presumably. Presumably. Custom game, custom tournament. This one. Where are you? Okay, all four of y'all are ready. So I'll back out of this real quick and start this. Whew. How did your game go though, Nano? Because I didn't. That was the one that I didn't see any of. I was focused on the apothecary verse Beevil. And of course, we just saw a little tiny bit of the log for Sun Station verse. Why is their name escaping me? Mongon Bringers? Was that who they were playing against? I think it was Mongon. Yeah, it was Mongon Bringers that they were playing against. I saw a little bit of that one from the log, but I don't know how yours went at all, Nano. Other than, like, the final scores. Ooh, again, we're seeing a dealer wareme. So Do here, and this isn't even a bad hand. Like, this could easily be workable into Tanyao, Pinfu, maybe a dragon. I should also turn on other hands. What else we got here? I was like, something's missing. What am I missing? Obviously, I forgot to turn on hands. Ivake's hand, that's kind of rough to work with. It's a little bit less rough now that she got the 8-pin. It's still not the easiest, because like she's not West, so she can't really just call on those. Yeah, it's just a rough one to work with, I think. Mandy, let's see. Mandy has also not really too much going on here. The One-So and the South Wind are obviously going to be going at some point in the 9-pin as well, I'm sure. Everything else is like, it's perfectly fine, but like it's not really anything great. And Bonzi here. Bonzi has a workable hand. I do see the makings of like a 6-7-8 Sanshoku. I think that'd be a little bit silly though, considering you have a 5-6 and an 8-9. I think that would be hard to make it work. But it could end up as Pinfu. It could be an early riichi. We'll see. I definitely think that Baby Hands here has the advantage to start with. Okay. Looks like Do is... I didn't see her pick up the green dragon, but looks like she's going to be able to go for that. And again, this could also be Tanyao as well, if she can find something around the 4. If that ends up looking more likely, then we could see these 2 green dragons go. Nope. I mean, she could still draw 7-pin and make that happen, but then, like, you're risking the 9-pin as well. I think you just keep the dragons at that point. I think those are very, very firmly locked into her hand right now. Ivake's hand, a triplet on the 7s now, that's very nice, because that lets these Wests just, like, exist as a pair. Which is great when, like, you know, you can't really use it easily as a triplet. You're not... It's like you don't have pressure to call, but also like you wouldn't have been able to call in the first place. You do have a lot of good groups there. Now you're mostly looking for a pair on your East or your Hatsu, which I don't think the Hatsu is going to happen with 2 in Do's hand. Of course, we have the riichi over here from Bonzi. That is not Pinfu, but it is still, you know, an early riichi. It's something. This is Riichi Nomi waiting on 5-pin, 8-pin. I do think that it's going to be a little hard for Mandy to discard, especially now. She's not going to be discarding either of her 5s. And I think that Do is probably going to be the most likely to drop an 8-pin. So yeah, right here even. So this is going to deal into Bonzi. Is he going to take it? No, but he's going to emote and maybe give away that he was waiting on it. So he is in Furry 10 now. He has to draw it himself if he wants to take it. It wouldn't have... It would have just, like, moved the dealer around if he decided to call that. Because, of course, you know, being your teammate, you still have the same... If you win off a teammate, I should say. Even if you win a lot, it doesn't matter. You still end up with the same point total between the two of you. So now we see a riichi from Ivaki, and I think that she is much more likely to win this one right now, waiting on, and I guess I would be waiting strictly on the west wind, because again, these easts I just don't really see coming out. Or not these easts, these Hatsu, these green dragons. I really don't see these coming out at all. Also means that Do as well is going to be looking strictly for the 3-so, but like even then, that's no Yaku, so she can't really win. Do and Bonzi here, honestly, this is rough because like they definitely had the advantage with their starting hands. So it's very funny to see both of them kind of screwed out of this. Do with no Yaku on her one winnable tile, and Bonzi with, you know, free 10. Yeah, and he's not even gonna get a chance for another draw. I'm sure Do's very upset seeing the Hatsu wait on the right. That said, her dealership continues, or their dealership continues, so it's like nothing even changed, except for the riichis, I guess. Whew. So an early white dragon call from Do. Not, it doesn't have the wareme this time. So it's probably just going to be white dragon only. Maybe we could see a Chanta here as well for Tuhan. But you probably won't see much. And maybe also a 4-pin, because that's Dora next to this 3. But that's about it. I think the best of this hand would be Tuhan. Bonzi with the wareme. What all does he have? His mon tiles are a little bit questionable right now. They're not really too great. The pin tiles are fantastic, actually. That's extremely good groups. And like both of them can wait on the 4-pin as well, the Dora, earning him some extra value if he can get it. 8-so is gonna go, but otherwise his 4 and 5 shape is really nice. Like, this hand is solid. Again, the mon tiles could use a little bit of work, but they're not like bad, you know? They're fine. They're fine. Now, Ivaki here, ooh, we see 2 Dora in hand for Ivaki. I wonder if this is gonna be Tanya, maybe? Drop this 9, keep this as a 6, 7, 8. Oh, but that also makes it as a 2, 4, 6. This might just be Riichi Nomi. I think this 9-pin has to go. It's just not doing much for you. Oh, you dropped a 4. Okay. That's fair too, I think, like, being able to keep both of these as a pair, trying to find a triplet in one of them, but I think just having the 2, 4, 6 being able to benefit from either the 3 or the 5, that is very valuable. And also the 4, like, if you had dropped the 9-pin, you could have been looking at Tanya there. Do is making some progress. It looks like she is actually pushing up to a more valuable hand than I was expecting, because she is going for a half flush. Gonna be dropping this 2-so next, I'm sure, looking for, preferably if she can find a 4-pin. Again, that's Dora right next to this red 5. This hand could be very, very valuable. I was about to say, especially if she can manage to hit it off of the wareme player, but that is not really the case because they are teammates. Mandy's hand as well. I haven't really paid much attention to Mandy's hand right yet. So we see these 6-7s. Those are good shapes. This 2-3-4 is real nice. You know, the Hatsu's probably going to be going, I'm sure. The 8-mon probably going to be going at some point, unless she can find something next to it. This hand is, it's shaping up, but it's not really there yet. The 6s, I mean, yeah, I was about to say, they're an awkward pair. I definitely would have cut the 9-so there. The 9-so is probably going to be cut at some point. It's just, well, I mean, really, honestly, I think I would have personally cut the 9-pin and kept those. I guess it's this. I guess 6 to 1, half a dozen other on that one. It's the same shape, really, on both ends. So never mind. What was I gonna say? Right, yeah. If she had cut the 9-so, she could have been looking at maybe finding some value in a Tanyao in all simples. But I think this play is perfectly fine as well. It's not the easiest hand to work with. And it is, I mean, yeah, it's just not the easiest hand to work with. And, like, she's doing perfectly fine with it. It's just I would be looking at all simples. I would be, because I'm greedy. Oh, and there goes the 6-so. Oh. I guess she could have been looking maybe at a 7-8-9 Sanshoku, and that's why she kept the 9-mon. Oh, and that's going to be huge for Bonzi. 18,300? Alright, I got to do a tiny bit of math. Not much. Let's see. So that is 99,300 for baby hands. Which is on the right here. 99,300. Which means 60,700 for the other team. Okay. That's a rough start for these two. But that said, it is very much the start, so we can see if they get their chance at a comeback. And Iwaki here is dealer. You know, she could very easily get her points back if she can manage a direct hit off Bonzi with the wareme. Get those points immediately back. As dealer, though, I should be focusing on that. Now, she does have the double east, a pair of Dora. This hand is looking solid. She might even be looking at pushing this into a half flush and dropping this 3 and 4. I think that that's a little bit risky, but it would make sense too, considering that they are far behind. And it's not like too risky. I think Do here is just going for a quick hand, calling on the Hatsu, trying to outspeed them. Because they have a massive lead. Right now, their goal is more just move the game forward as fast as they can. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if we see the Dora go out from her hand. Mandy here. Let's see. Ooh, this could be an easy Tanyao Pinfu. Maybe not Pinfu. Maybe not, but possibly. Easy Tanyao at least. I think that's pretty much guaranteed. And then Bonzi. It looks like another easy Tanyao over there. We could see 3 pairs. Okay, no, never mind. I was gonna say, like, there is a chance maybe of a Chi Toy or a Toy Toy of all triplets or 7 pairs. But seems like that is not the case. Also, somebody is messaging me, so I will check that very quickly. Okay. So I think Ivaki won that one. I unfortunately wasn't paying too much attention. I was looking at a message real quickly. But it looks like, yeah. Would have taken a little bit from Do. Maybe some from Bon. No, I think Bonzi's points are the same. I think it was just a small hand off Do. But again, as dealer, that's perfectly fine. Ooh, hang on. Looks like Ivaki might be thinking about going for 13 orphans here. If she can manage to drop all her simple tiles. Now, she is 5 away without a pair, which is like... That's like my bare minimum for whenever I like look at starting 13 orphans. So I don't think it's likely to work out, but it could. Do's hand over here. Could definitely be Tanyao. She could definitely end up dropping the 9-so. Because like having Tanyao, having the Dora, it's the same value. But yeah, she doesn't have too many terminals, so she could work with that. Like she could drop the 1-so, drop the 9 at some point, look for tiles there. Bonzi now has a pair of Easts, 2 pairs over there. It's hard to see what he has when he's doing that. Let's see. The 6-8's fine. The So tiles are pretty good. He'll probably call East and then drop the 8-pin, I would imagine. And Mandy's hand, let's take a look. Ooh, hang on. We got some stuff going on here. We got the red 5. We have 4 pairs with one being a triplet. This is at least an interesting hand, if nothing else. I don't know how workable this hand is. Like, you need to draw these triplets yourself is the problem, because you don't really have a Yaku otherwise. But you are Ishanten. Oh, and we can see that Ivaki here, 3 away now with a pair. So she is getting closer and closer. We do see a pawn over there. It looks like she is now going for Tanyao, dropping the 9. Yep. Tenpai waiting on the 8-mon. It's not going to be a very valuable hand, but it is going to be, you know, it's... Any hand is worth it when you're behind and it's early, I would say. Waiting on the 7, so we could definitely see that come out from Paul here, from Bonzi. Because I imagine probably call East, and then you're either looking at cutting... I mean, let's be real. I think you're just looking at cutting the 7, so immediately then. I don't think you're looking at cutting the 3-pin right yet. But maybe you would? Oh, you call on that? Ooh, you dropped the 6-8. That might give him time to find something around the 7. No. We'll see. Yeah, Ivaki's hand. I don't think this is gonna end up as 13 orphans. It's just gonna be rough to work with. 2-way though needs, well, 2-way from Tenpai. Needs 9-mon, 1-so, and 9-so. So if she can draw 2 of those tiles, then she can get there. But let's see, we have 2 1-so out. We have 2 9-so in hand. 3 1-so out. Getting that last one's going to be especially difficult. And for the 9-mon, we have 3 of those out as well. Yeah, I think this 13 orphans is unfortunately dead. Mandy here and Tenpai now waiting on 6-so. And Bonzi waiting on the Dora. Obviously, if Ivaki draws... Yep, just like that. If Ivaki draws it, they're going to keep it. If she gets lucky, she could end up in Tenpai. Because let's see. 1-so, 9-mon. I see... Oh, never mind. All 4 9-mon are out. Like, she could still hit Tenpai, draw the 1-so, but it would be Tenpai only. It wouldn't be able to win with it because all the 9-mons are out. Oh, and that was Mandy's winning tile, but it doesn't matter. She hasn't called riichi, so it's not like that's permanent at Furry 10. That Furry 10 is basically the one that does not matter. Just replying to a message real quickly. I think Do... it's getting very late. I don't know that she's going to be dropping this 9-so here. Yeah, no. She's folding. She's afraid of the heat from anyone else, even though the one that's actually in Tenpai forward is Bonzi. Okay, Mandy finds what she was looking for. It's a 2-Han hand. That is still something, again, it is going to take extra from Do. Alright. Message responded to. Mandy is the dealer. We should be looking at her hand. Do again has the wareme mark. Ooh, actually this hand is shaping up pretty nicely. If she can find a 7-mon, then that would be Pinfu set up. Or something around this 4-so. She would be able to set it up that way as well. Bonzi, the red 5 is always great. You could very easily find something around there. The 6, 7, 8, 9 is pretty nice. Pair of 1s, 2, 3, 5, 5, that's pretty nice. I was about to say your honors are the worst part of your hand, and they weren't bad, and now you drew the white dragon. Like, your hand is pretty solid. I imagine dropping the 1-so and either the 9-pin if you find something around the 5, or maybe the 5-mon if you happen to find something around the 6. I imagine you wouldn't feel too bad about cutting that value if you have to, but you should be able to hit Tenpai pretty quickly. In fact, it might get dropped here. No! Oh, that's right, there was the extra one. I forgot about the extra 1-so. Do has a pair of the Easts. She didn't want to call on Paul's East that he dropped. She does have wareme, so she's probably like wanting to keep her hand closed and try to get the extra value from that. Also, I'm realizing that Mandy Dax is Ishanten. If she can just draw the 7-mon, that's Tenpai with Pinfu. But even without it, if she draws the 2 or the 5-mon, like, that's still riichi. It still, like, puts pressure on the other 2. And Paul could definitely deal in then. So let's see, what does Do have here? Yeah, that's fair. You're definitely going to need a pair after you call in the Easts. So it makes sense to do that. Call in the East, probably look at dropping the 3 or 6-so. You're calling, it looks like you're going to be going for Tanyao. I don't know if this is going to be fast enough to deal with these 2 who are already in Tenpai. But we can see, because it all depends on what everyone draws. Ooh, 4-pin, that's going to deal into Do. Does she take it? Probably, she definitely could. It would move the game forward, get Mandy out of the dealer seat. Like, their team's in the lead anyway. In fact, actually, I should be updating scores. I should probably do that after this round, though. Yeah. It's very funny to see a 1-pin pass and then immediately draw into a 1-pin and win on it. But it makes sense, because now she got to take a little bit of blood from her 2 opponents. And, like, sure, she took some from Paul too, but, like, she didn't take the full amount like she otherwise would have. So it worked out to wait. Ooh, Mandy's hand is looking great, and she has wareme? That's real exciting for her. Paul's hand's looking fine. Do's is looking... It's looking alright. It's looking workable. And Mandy looks like she can be pretty easily going for Tanyao here. Yeah, I definitely think that Mandy and Ivaki here have the best chance of hitting Tenpai early. They definitely have an advantage for this round. But with that said, let me go take a look at the scores. So that would be... math. So that's 50,000. D... 64,000... 65,200, I think, for them. That seems right. Which that should leave 100,000 minus 48,000 or 4,800. $95,800. I think that's right. 200 there. No, hang on. I added an extra 1,000 points somewhere. Where did I add it? I think it was on baby hands, I think. Let's take a look. Yeah, that was definitely added to baby hands. Okay. So now we can see how these hands are progressing. Paul's hand is definitely shaping up a lot. Cut out the Mon tiles, looking to build a lot in the So tiles here. He's really hoping to find either a 7-pin or a triplet to complete one of these pairs. Doe's hand... Also, it seems to be progressing, but like the 8-9 is going to be rough to find something for. It looks like she would still need to find a pair, and the hand looks fine, but compared to the others right now, I think that she is the farthest behind. Ivaki here. We have this triplet of 3s, 3, 4, 4, 5. The 7's not really doing much for you unless you're looking at those 4s as a pair, which actually they definitely might be if you can manage a triplet of the 5 Mon or the 4 So. So we'll see on that one. And of course the ace is going to be going pretty much immediately. I think they were just keeping that for safety. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, so you're Ishanten. If you can find anything else around that 4, 5, 6, 7 group, then that's Tenpai. Or if, alternatively, if you find like a 1, 2, 3 or a 2, 3, 4 or something, then you could be looking for a pair here in the 4, 7. I think Mandy here has the best chance of hitting Tenpai first, and again, as the wareme player, that's massive. Because even if it ends up being Riichi Dora, she has the chance of Tsumo, she has the chance of Ipatsu, she has the chance of Uradora. Like, anything with Riichi, and this hand looks like a very, 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 almost certainly will be Riichi. Anything with Riichi has the potential of being big. Now, let's see. That call for Ivaki. We have a 3, 4, 5 now. These 5s are just going to be a pair. Are you not in... No, you're not in Tenpai. That would have to be a 5 if it were in Tenpai. I was just, like, mentally reading it as a 5. So you're still Ishanten, but you're very, very, very close to Tenpai. Paul has not taken the 8s. He could have and gone Tanyao. I'm actually a little surprised he kept the Shun. I mean, it makes sense because it is getting late and one hasn't been dropped in a long time. I guess the other 2 are just in the dead wall, or like very late in the wall. I don't think you take that. Why are you emoting like you're winning? Paul, stop that. Yeah, we see a nice Riichi over here, waiting on 3 different tiles, the 2, 5, 8. Ivaki also hitting Tenpai, waiting on the 5, 8 pin. That would have dealt into Ivaki, but I think that she wants to let her teammate win because she expects Mandy to be able to have more value here. I think that's a very good play to let that pass. Or a very interesting one anyway, because like there are only a couple tiles left. There's that to consider. I think she's perfectly fine if like they end up in an exhaustive draw, but they would be much, much, much happier if Mandy could manage to win there. They do get the points here from, you know, just being in Tempai. So I will fix the scores. It is now 91,000. And then plus 3,000 over here, so 68,000. And we have Do as dealer with Wareme again. 4 pairs. This could be half flush. This could be Toy Toy. This could be Chi Toy. This could be just riichi. I mean, probably just dragon would be more what I would assume. But like there is definitely the potential to make this hand very, very big. All right. Oh. And yeah, no, she's definitely seeming like she's going for the half flesh. So what's everyone else going for? Ivaki got the pair of Norths. That's not really great for them. Because you would definitely need a... Well, this could end up as Pinfu. Like she could get a 7-8-9. She could get something else in here for the 3-4-5, for like a 3-4-5 and a 4-5-6 group or something like that, and then be looking at like something in here. Or she could just draw that and make it a triplet, and then have riichi Dora 2 later. That works as well. Mandy with the Dora White Dragon pair, that's huge. She's also Ishanten, so again, this is another one where I think Mandy has a great shot of hitting Tempai early. In Bongzi's hand, he's gonna need the 7-mon at some point. He's... no, he's not Ishanten though. He's Rian Shanten. I was gonna say he's Ishanten because I was reading this as 4-5-6, not 4-5-7. The 7, you know, it doesn't really quite work that way. He's also very likely, I think, to either discard... Yeah, he's discarding the White Dragon. Mandy's calling that for sure. Yeah. Because that's going to be 4 Han for Mandy. Put her in Tempai, waiting on the 5-pin. Like, this isn't a strong weight, but it could get a little bit better if she can call pawn on the 6s, the 4s, or the 2-mon. And Dove, of course, like, her hand is really... or their hand is really progressing as well. We have the triplet of 3s, triplet of 6s. If she can call on either of these, that's Tempai for her as well. Oh, and unfortunately, Mandy won't be able to win off of the red 5-pin because that is already out over here. I think that this one is pretty squared away in Bonzi's hand, but there are still 2... Well, no, sorry, there's 1 more remaining in the wall because she has one right there. Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to win on the 5. But if she can call pawn and upgrade this to a double pawn weight, I think that would be big. Hi, Alice! Are y'all still in your game, or is your game already over? That was extremely fast. I was expecting this game to be done first because it started like, I don't know, 3 minutes earlier or something like that. Actually, about 5 minutes earlier. Who won your game? Oh, it's gonna be Tempai for Do. Yeah, I was gonna say, unless you wanted to force the Chinitsu, but there would be no real need. So looks like Do and Ivaki are both going to be competing for the 3-so, 6-so, and if it comes out from either of these two, Do's going to get it with the head bump. Again, I don't think the 5-pin... Well, it could come out, I guess, if we see the last one come up from Do or Ivaki, because like they might just choose to hold on to their Tenpai. Especially Ivaki. Not that Mandy would necessarily want to win off that. Oh, congrats! Congrats on the win! Sorry, I'm still just like in shock that y'all's is already done. Yeah, I was gonna say that you have to see the con there. The extra value, you gotta. Unfortunately, that only makes the West Wind more valuable, which the West Wind is out entirely. The only one still able to riichi is Paul as well, and, you know, he's not in Tenpai. That's kind of a big factor there, and there's very few tiles left, so that riichi wouldn't happen. Oh, okay, yeah, you sumo that. Makes sense. You take a little bit from your teammate, but you take much more from your opponents. I'm trying to remember. Do was the wareme player. Yeah. So you take a lot from her, especially, or from them. I don't know why I keep saying her. I think they're strictly they then. Okay, so that's gonna even out scores a little bit here. We have one player on each team with a very high score and one player with about half as much. Now, Baby Hands, Paul and Do, they are still going to be winning a little bit right now. They're still like slightly ahead, but it's much more close than it was. And I should go update scores real quick. So that is going to be 77,000, 78,400. 78,400. And then for these two, that would be 81,600? Yeah. Okay. So who has what and who has wareme? Paul has wareme. Let's take a look at his hand real quick. It's perfectly fine. Like, I think these 8s are likely to end up as a pair. I feel like the 9-so is going to be going at some point soon. You're not really going to need that because you have the 6 filling effectively the same role. I have too many other groups to really contend with. So yeah, that's going. It could be Tanyao. Like, he could end up with like a triplet here or here, and then call sequences for those other groups. But I think more likely this is going to end up as a riichi hand from Paul. For Ivaki here, that is going to be Tenpai Dora 2. That's going to be big, and that's actually going to be enough to move Ivaki in the lead. Hi, Rox! Hope you're doing well. Yeah, if Ivaki can get this hand, that pushes them out from the bottom here, because they've been fighting to actually get back in this since East 1, if I remember right. So to be able to get out of that hole would be massive. So what's everyone else got? Do, your 6-7 is nice, your 1-3 is nice, the 9-so, 5-7-9 is pretty alright, especially now that you have that 4 with that 3-4-5. This hand's, it's perfectly workable, it's perfectly fine. Could end up as a Tanya if you find something else around this 3-pin. We'll see. Ooh, red 5. Not really gonna be too useful right this second. But it could be, and I think that's what matters. So we have a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's very solid. In fact, actually, you know what? If she can pick up the 6-mon, that is Tenpai. So that would be, yeah, Tenpai waiting on a 1, 4, 7 so tiles. At least on my end, it doesn't say that I have dropped frames, but it wouldn't surprise me because this computer is 14 years old. So I hope I'm not dropping frames, but that's about all I can say. Alternatively, I can just blame Twitch. It's always on them, never on me. Let's see if we can get a 5 or a 7 so here for Ivaki. Or a 6 or 9. Well, 6 really. 9 wouldn't work because it wouldn't be Tanya. Honestly, either of these hands could push them out of this hole. Because this game is... it's very tight right now. Ooh, okay, hang on, that's gonna do it. That's gonna put Ivaki in Tenpai, waiting on the 3-pin. Who would actually be willing to drop the 3-pin? Well, I think both of these are pretty well squared away in each of their respective hands. But if they draw another one, they would definitely be able to drop it. It would be the last one in the wall, though. Alternatively, Ivaki could end up with... I was gonna say all triplets. I forgot about this called sequence here, so it wouldn't be all triplets. But she could call on a 7-so and look for a pair weight. But I don't think she's gonna be doing that because she only sees this 1-3. She probably thinks that it's still very much alive, when not really the case. Okay, Mandy takes this. So we have, yeah, Riichi, Pinfu, Dora, Akadora. She didn't get the straight. And that's also unfortunate because it would have been Uradora, but she didn't need it. She hit Bonzi with it. Bonzi had the wareme. That's going to put their team well in the lead, which is fantastic when you only have 2 rounds left. Congrats on getting out of that hole because I know y'all were in there for a while. Oh yeah, I should be focusing on you. This hand's pretty rough. I think she's trying to go for 13 orphans 4 away with a pair. It's not likely to work out, but obviously, you know, as 13 orphans do, if she does get it, it's going to be huge. I think this is more likely going to be Yakuhai and just calling these other groups. But we'll see. Ivaki has the wareme. Let's look at her hand. 6, 7, 8 here, 7, 8, 9 here, 8, 9. This group's pretty nice. She's gonna need one more group, but if she can find it, that'd be great. If she can call, or not if she can call, if she can find another 4-pin, that would be like the best case scenario. I'm not sure why she was dropping the 5-so and 4-so, because like those would be very, very nice to build off of. Oh, you know what? I think I see. I think she's going for a 7, 8, 9 Sanshoku. Yeah, especially with that call. I think that pretty much confirms it. So now she's just wanting to push the game forward, move us into the last round. I mean, no, that's definitely right, Rox. It's definitely 900p. This computer, it can't really do 1080 very well. It like stutters a lot, so instead of just dealing with frame drops, I lowered it a little bit. Let's see what's going on in these other hands. Paul here, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 8, 8, 9. Definitely some good tiles to work with there. He is East Shanten as well. If he can get this white dragon, he'd be loving that. He definitely needs a little bit more value, but if he can hit off Ivaki, I think that would be very nice. For Doe, Looks like she's threatening a pure straighten here, and she's gonna have to discard the straight at this point, probably dropping. Yeah, I was gonna say probably. It was tough to say, honestly, for me, whether she was gonna be dropping the 2-pin or one of these two, because she could be looking at a pair for the 2-5 pin if she wanted to like try to make Pinfu a little bit more likely. But she ends up getting the 1-2-3 there, waiting on the 5-8. It's not Pinfu, it's just riichi. No door or anything with it. It does put pressure on the opponents, though. And she can hope for Ura. Let's see, looks like the 13 Orphans Dream died a while ago when I was paying attention to the other hands. I think this is just a hard fold from Mandy. I was thinking that until that call. Now I guess there is a way for her to hit Tenpai. Thank you, Rox. Take care. What was I saying? All right, yeah, I think there was like a way for her to hit Tenpai, and that's like why she probably called on the Reds, but like I just don't think it's very likely to work out. I think I would have just looked at those as an easy discard instead of calling them. Well, not in Tenpai yet. Dropping the 1-pin, hoping... well, no, he won't be able to hit Tenpai. Yeah, no, 0 tiles left. I didn't even realize. So, Do gets some points for being the only one in Tenpai. But it doesn't change the scores too much. Well, not that it needs to be. Hang on, because that takes 2,000 from the others. Oh, this is an extremely tight game. Hang on. Let me just make sure these scores are right. That is going to be 35. So that's going to be 65. That's going to be 66. 600. Yeah, so 66, 600 for these two. And that is going to be 80, 91, 92, 400 for the other. I must have missed scoring at some point because I feel like Baby's hand score should have gone up, not down. We do have Bonzi's dealership though. Let's take a look here. Ooh, Ishanten already. Okay. If he finds something around this 4, it could even be Tanyao. Or if he finds like a 6-so. Now Do with the wareme. Oh, that's gonna be riichi. Are you gonna take it? Probably. I think Paul just takes these. He's thinking real hard on it. I'm also seeing that Do could very easily go... yeah, he takes it. Do looks like she could very easily be going for Chitoi if she can find a 4-mon, 5-mon, 5-so. She has Ishanten with that. Ivaki here. Ivaki's hand needs a little bit of work. Do and Paul's are definitely going to be faster. And Mandy... what? Never mind. She's going for the North Wind. Right, because she's the North Seat. She can definitely hit Tenpai, but she would be much more likely... well, yeah, especially now. The 5 and the 8, one of those two I think would have to go for her at some point if she wants to hit Tenpai. And at least for right now, they both deal into her opponents. I was getting worried there. I was thinking that she might drop the 8 so there, but I think that's just a fold at this point. Which, good timing. Oh, Do has taken herself out of Tenpai. Hang on, what is Do doing? What is... You don't need to be folding against your teammate. Unsure what's happening there. But that doesn't mean that Mandy is gonna be able to at least drop the 5 so if she has to. Ooh. Oh no, the 8 comes out. Deals right into Paul. Okay. It's not a big win, but it does push things a little bit more back into these two's favor. They're still not in the lead, but this is a tight game. So let's see, we have, what is that? 70,000, 75,000, 75,600. Yeah. 75,600, which means the other group would be at 84,400. And pausing again, this is looking very, very solid, especially if you can find like a pair of the 1 and 2 that's gonna end up as a Pinfu hand. We'll have to see on that. And let's see, Mandy is the wareme player this round. Not a very solid hand over there. Like maybe this can end up, I was gonna say maybe it could end up as a Tanyao. That's gonna make it a lot harder though to end up that way. Probably find something around the 2-6. Hope to draw a 7-pin. It's like, it's not a bad hand, but it's perfectly fine. It's not something that I think is going to be fast enough to outspeed. Now for Ivaki's hand, let's take a look here. This is going to be Tanyao Dora. Not really too close to Tenpai yet, but she is able to, like, threaten it. And when Paul and Do are even this little bit behind, I think threatening it is pretty nice, trying to, you know, put that pressure on their opponents. For Do, 2, 3, 4, 5. This hand's looking pretty solid. Like, if she can find a 7-mon especially, then this could end up as Pinfu. But she might also just find like the 3 and 6 here and the 2 and 5 here and just decide, okay, well, I'm going with the double pair weight of the 9-mon and the 1-so, and I think that would make sense as well. Well, actually, hang on, no, would it? Because then, like, they wouldn't have the value. Because this is the end of the game. Ivaki adding a little bit of value to her hand. Again, she doesn't really need any value because any hand at all wins her and Mandy this game. Ooh, okay. That's Tenpai waiting on 3-mon. It's riichi only. Well, no, sorry, it's riichi Dora. Paul would need an Uradora, I believe, in order to be able to win this. Which, that's not bad odds. A 2-4-6 shape is nice, but it's kind of come a little bit late. Like you're pretty much just gonna be folding at this point, I think. Draw the 1-mon, that's pretty useless, but you're going to be continuing to fold. The 3-so looks, you know, pretty safe. Paul's dropped a lot of so tiles. That makes sense. That is a 789. She doesn't take it though. She decides that she isn't going to be pushing forward with the hand, that she is just going to be not dealing in. She doesn't want her teammate to end up in Furry 10, I think. Ivaki, now also in Tempai, waiting on the 5, so. We'll see which comes out first, if either. 13 tiles left. Okay, Ivaki takes it. Ivaki and Mandy, little two dragons, moving forward. That was a ridiculously close game. Like, for the entire back half of it, the entire South round was very, 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 very close. I'm going to take another couple-minute break as we prepare for the last round. I'll be back in just a minute. Oh, all right. And I'm back. Yeah, no, I was... that match was ridiculously close for that entire South round. That was like... It was constantly bouncing around between like who was in the lead, who was, who was on the back foot. I do want to take a look real quickly at the game that we missed. Actually, let me start up the other round first, so that way we don't have to wait 5 minutes for that. So let's see. That is going to be, yeah, at the apothecary, at two little dragons. I should check. This is, I'm not just like blanking. This is the last one for today, right? Yes. Okay. Okay. I wanted to make sure that like I wasn't adding the wrong teams in the wrong group, and that there was just like another round left. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is going to be Mandy, Ivaki, Fun Pup, and Gengirl. I want to see the previous game log as we get going. So, hang on. You can take a minute to do that. Like, yeah, you can take just a minute. I'll be looking at the other log that we didn't cover. I guess I should probably be like typing that because I don't actually know if you're still in the chat. In fact, I should be checking. Okay. But let me see this match. How did this one go? Oops, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Ooh! Oh, that's a nasty start. Okay. Yeah, no, just finish them off like in the East rounds. God damn. No wonder that game was quick. Oh, and that's rough too, because like in the first game, Freelance Dog was running away with it, getting big hand after big hand because of the wareme, and now, of course, she's at the receiving end of it. Oh. What kind of hands did we see here? So you probably just dealt that right in. Yep. And that is dealing into... over here, the Chitoi. I see. Ooh. Yeah, that's rough. Chitoi Dora 3? When you have the war... Oh. Oh. Malta. That's rough. And with 7 tiles left as well, like... And it's Suji to the 6. You would maybe not necessarily expect it to be safe, because, like, that riichi came out late, but... Oh, that's rough. And yeah, y'all are done for right now. Loser's bracket is gonna be tomorrow. So... I will see you then. But let's take a look at the next round. In fact, actually, let me check and make sure that they aren't ready, and then... Okay, they are ready. I'll go ahead and start that. So, I'll show that in 5 minutes because of the delay. Let's get back to looking at this. So round 2, what we have going on here? Ooh, okay. So 3-pin 1-so wait from Alice. And then, yeah. Oh, that's rough. And like, your dealer, you just want that win. Like, the 1-so doesn't even necessarily look dangerous here. So that's not like a bad play or anything. I would have absolutely done the same. Just unfortunate to see the reach, reach Dora 2. Let's see if this hits Uradora, probably, to get the value it needs.
No.
Yeah, hits her, puts you directly at 0. Oh. This is why I put the higher starting score cap of 40,000. I wasn't sure what... I wanted it to be, like, able to be knocked down... Maybe not like very easily, but like, you know, kind of a little easily. Without it being like almost every match because of someone going down below 25, or yeah, someone getting 25,000 points taken out of them from the wareme. Didn't want that to happen too quickly. But oh god, we do see it here very, very quickly. Oh yeah, that's It's not this round that you die. This round, it looks like Naomi takes a sizable hit off of Bun Pup. Let's take a look, actually. Ooh, the riichi Ippatsu. Okay, hell yeah. Fucking love an Ippatsu. It always feels good. So that's gonna earn Naomi a good bit, and then we have this last round. Ooh, okay. The naked weight. Oh, shit. Oh, no, okay, I see. Because this is gonna go down. 0 tiles remaining. You're not in Tempai. So you're gonna go down below 0 and bust from that. Oh, that's so painful. Oh. And not much you could have done for any of that, Malta. Damn. Oh, I did not mean to leave the tournament. How much time we got left for this? About 1.5 minutes. Oh, we've had some extremely good games today. Take a little sip of my water. And this last one is going to be the last one for today, but this is just the winner's bracket up to the winner's finals. We have the loser's bracket tomorrow, and then after that, the 2 finalist teams will be deciding when to have the actual grand finals. So we still got a lot of mahjong left for this tourney. Still got 40 seconds left, huh? Oh. Man. I still just, like, keep thinking about the fucking... what was it? It was the, yeah, it was Bun Pup's 5-mon that she could have won off of and decided to just call Khan on needlessly. That has just been, like, tickling my brain since I saw it. What the hell? I hope you can too. Yeah. Cause like, I'm definitely planning to do another one of these at some point. I don't know exactly when, but I would love to have you. Okay, but let's see. We have Gangorilla's dealer. And Ivaki over here on the right as the wareme player. I should be showing hands. Ooh, fast hand over here. Gonna be calling upon... This could be all triplets. We can see the pair of Dora over here in Bun Pup's hand. The rest of the hand is not looking too great. I was gonna say it looks fantastic when I saw the triplet of ones and the pair of Dora, but like everything else is like... most of it is fine to build off of, but you don't really have any solid groups completed. Ivaki's hand is moving forward well. That's gonna be... that could technically be Tempai if she drops the 9-so, but it wouldn't be with a Yaku. I think I would still say, like, it would be worth cutting the 9-so and then calling on the Chun whenever it comes up, drop the 7, and just keep that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because the 5, 6 would be very easy to complete as a group. But of course, like, we'll see how this actually ends up playing out. You know what? Actually, I say that's just what I would have done, but, like, I wasn't actually looking at the vision here, and now I could see the vision, and I respect it, because, like, this is going to leave Ivaki with this nice 8-9 weight here if she can call Pawn on the Chun. The only real benefit to doing it the other way is that, like, if she could have called Khan, then maybe she could have won with Rinshan no Mi, which I think that that would be beautiful, but it's very unlikely, and I think that's like the big benefit to doing it that way. Both ways I think are perfectly reasonable. It's just I didn't see this way for a second. Now it looks like Gengirl is hitting Tenpai with Toy Toy. And with all these pawns on the table, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a con at some point, adding some extra. Yep, hell, right there. I wasn't even paying attention to what she drew. Adding some extra value to the table, and in fact, adding it to her teammate's hand because she is waiting on the Dora. I haven't really looked at Mandy's hand yet. What have you got going on here? You've got a half flush, it looks like. You're a bit scared of the 5-pin, it looks like, and I definitely would be too. A lot of calls on this table. Anyone could be in Tenpai. So that's going to deal into Ivaki. It's not going to be big, but it is something. And as the wareme player, that's, you know, that's perfectly fine. Getting a 2,000 point hand and getting your opponents out of dealer, that makes sense. Oh, also, I just realized the scores. I should change this to the actual teams. So this is going to be the Apothecary. And we also have... where are they? Where are you? Here. 2 little dragons. For the scores, that is going to be... On the right, we have the Apothecaries. They're going to be the ones down 2,000, so it's going to be 78 versus 82. All right, now that we actually have the correct scores up, let's take a look at these hands. Ivaki here able to go with another cheap Haku Nomi hand. Yeah, I was gonna say she could call on that. She might drop, I was gonna say she could drop these and maybe look for a straight in here, be able to keep the Dora. It's much less efficient because, you know, she's not in Tenpai right now like she otherwise could be. But I think that efficiency hit is fine. Because again, like she just has, she can make this hand very valuable. Much more valuable anyway than it otherwise would be with just one Han. So Bun Pup here is the wareme player. So let's take a look over there. It looks like she is Ishanten. If she can find this 5-8 so, or if she can find a triplet to complete this 3-mon or this West Wind and drop this East, then she'll be in Tenpai. That said, she would need it to be the West, because otherwise there's no Yaku. And 1 West is already out as well. Oh, no, that's Tenpai again if you want to drop the 5. And this time you do take it. This time, I guess a little bit more time has passed, and so you're a little bit more hesitant about the hand going forward. That makes sense. Mandy's hand. We have pair of 6s, triplet and 9s. Your so tiles are looking pretty nice over there. You could very easily find stuff around those. We'll see how that ends up. It's probably just going to be a riichi hand with not much else in it. And for Gengirl, it looks like we're going Tanyao. 3, 4, 5. We have a 2, 4, 6 setup waiting on a 3 or 5. She would really love a 5 so. But yeah, not looking bad at all. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna deal in. It's not a huge hand, but not only is Ivaki dealer, she is hitting off Bun Pup as well, who is her opponent and has wareme. So this 1,500 point hand then becomes 3,000. So this then becomes 85,000 to 75,000. This hand, it's looking a little bit slower than the last one. It's definitely not bad though. Probably look at building off of this 3 at some point. Drop this 1 and 9. Build off of this 6 as well, I'm sure. Mandy's hand, we have 2, 4, 6. So that's a pretty good group in its own because you can benefit from a 3 or a 5. We have a 7, 8, and 9 completed. Pair of 4s, a 6, 7. Your hand's looking pretty solid. Yeah. Like, you're gonna need a little bit of work to hit Tenpai, but like, it's not gonna be, it shouldn't be too hard with the groups that you have available. Bun Pup has, it's a fine hand. I don't know, it's a little bit awkward to have the pair of ones and then also this triplet of sevens that are combined with this 6 though. Usually like the 6-7-7-7 shape is great if you don't already have a pair, but if you do have one, then it just kind of gets a little awkward. So we'll see how that ends up shaping up. And Gengirl, it looks like we're going for Tanyao over here again. Is that... Yeah, that is Ishanten for Chitoi for 7 pairs. So we have 7 pairs, 2 Dora, Tanyao. It doesn't have to be 7 pairs, but if she can get it, that would be huge. Especially, again, as the wareme player, like, this is her chance for value. Now, it looks like Ivaki, I wasn't expecting Ivaki to open her hand, but it looks like she might be trying to go for all triplets. Yeah, seems like it. Probably saving this 9 is something that, like, she would be expecting others to drop later. Yeah, you're gonna call on that 8, I'm sure. Probably drop this 6. Because you want to keep this value. And if this is, like, a tile that you're trying to be sneaky on... I mean, that's... I think it's fair either way, because, like, it always just depends on what you draw, mostly. West Wind discard over there. They have Hatsu. Not in Tenpai, but very, very, very close. She is 1 away over here. And she might not feel bad about going for the 1 Han hand and just moving the game forward. They are in the lead. It's not a strong lead, but it is a lead. And usually you want to move the game forward when you're like that. So decided to drop the 5-mon and go strictly for the 6-pin, which I think makes sense. With the 5-mon, you're risking ending up picking up, like, drawing a 6-mon, right? You wouldn't have a Yaku if you did that, because that would be a 5, 6, 7, and a pair of 7s. It wouldn't be all triplets. You wouldn't have a Yaku then. You are losing value. And also, like, with it being a 5, you can't really expect your opponents to be able to drop it too easily. So I think it makes sense to have dropped that, but it especially works out because Mandy here needed it, and they are in a position to where Ivaki can feed Mandy tiles, which worked out very well here, putting both of them in Tenpai. Mandy's hand, it's progressing, but very slowly. Well, actually, no, I say that. She is Ishanten. So Ivaki does get another win here off Gengirl, and this is, again, wareme. That's 2 hands in a row where the dealer won off the wareme player. So that's going to be big again. So hang on one second. That's going to be 93,100. 93,100. Oops. That is way too big of a score. Pay no attention to what I just typed. And then, hang on. Shit, I wasn't paying attention to how much that was. Or I've already forgotten, I should say. I was paying attention. I just forgot. We have 900. So we have 6,900 for that, plus 6. So we have, yeah, 60,000. 66,900 over here. Nice. At least I think that's right. So let's take a look at all these hands now. We have Gengirl as the wareme player again. Ivaki, of course, continuing as dealer. Ivaki's hand is progressing again. It's not going to be very valuable, probably, unless she can manage to get riichi as well as the Hatsu. We'll see how that progresses. But I feel like this might just be Hatsu no Mi. Whereas over here for Gengirl, we have... I was going to say it looks like another Tanyao, but it doesn't because we have this pair of 9s. Which, you know, technically could get dropped in favor of Tanyao. Try to get some extra points here. I could see that being a possibility. I think this 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8 group is... It's very interesting. She's probably going to end up dropping one of those 7s in order to treat this as a 5, 6, 7 and a 7, 8, waiting on a 6 or a 9. But of course, she could pick up like a 4-mon as well, and then have those 7s as a triplet. So let's see, Mandy over here. Oh, my voice is getting rough. I am glad that this is the last match for the day. Mandy over here looks like she's trying to go for all triplets. Yeah, okay. Probably 6-pin? Yep. And that Ivaki's gonna take that and end up in Tenpai with just, again, the Hatsu Unomi. So, going for the small one-han hand, but again, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, 1,500 points is 1,500 points. And again, you get an extra 600 points as well. So, 2,100. So that is going to be 95, 200, and 64, 800. Ivaki, these hands keep going way too fast. This is one that is, again, looking very, very fast. It's another one that she can call on. She can go all simples. And because it's all simple, she could even maybe look at, like, keeping a Dora if she ends up finding one, or just keeping that and trying to keep the tile next to it. She doesn't, though. Let's see, what else do we have going on here? We have Mandy as the wareme player. 2, 3, 4, pair of 7s, 5, 6. Your hand is looking solid. You are Ishan 10. You are ready to go. Yeah, not much else to say about that. If a South comes up, I'm sure you're calling it and taking the Tenpai. If a 4 or 7 comes up, I'm sure you're calling riichi. Your hand is looking great. That 8 doesn't really do anything for you. Yeah. For Bun Pup here, that's a much harder hand to work with than either of these others. I don't see you hitting Tenpai earlier than them. And then Gengirl, looks like we're maybe going for a Chanta? If she finds a 2 or a 3-pin, this could even be a Sanshoku. I think she's mostly just looking for the 9, so drop this 1-pin and drop the 9-mon as well whenever she calls on one of these. Yeah, oh, okay. So she's gonna do that, drop the 9-mon, leaving the Sanshoku chance open still. She will have to find either the last 9, so... yeah, no, she pretty much has to find the last 9, so... unless she, like, picks up a 2-mon, and then Mandy picks up a 6 and swaps out the 9. That said, she also doesn't need the Chanta. She could win on 6, because she is in the North Sea. Now, it wouldn't... yeah, it's not very valuable without it, but she does find it. It's also not too valuable with it either, but it is still something. It gets Ivaki out of the dealer seat. Which, with how fast her and Mandy's hands were looking, I think just getting her out of the dealer seat made a ton of sense there. Ooh, interesting hand over here from Mandy. Pair of Wests, pair of Reds. Again, it's looking like it could be a Chanta. It could be 13 Orphans. If she can get dealer 13 Orphans, that would be ridiculous. She's 3 away from that. She needs 1 pin, she needs East Wind, and she needs Green Dragon. 2 away from Tenpai, I should say. 3 away from actually getting it. And Bump Up over here with the Wareme. It looks like a very, very easy Tanyao. It's looking... oh, wait, actually, hang on. Ooh, hang on. I wasn't even paying attention. Mandy is now Ishan 10 with 13 Orphans. Oh, and Bunpop calls riichi turn 4. Are we gonna see the one? Oh! Oh, hang on, hang on. We have a game here. I'm sorry to these other two hands. I barely. Oh, shit! Wait! Oh, but that's your teammate. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Sorry, I just got excited for a second. Just not even thinking about the fact that obviously this is a 2v2 format. Yeah, winning off the teammate wouldn't really accomplish much. Well, it would... I guess it would actually. I guess it would actually accomplish a little bit. Because that would be... What is that? 48,000? Coming straight... Actually, wait, no. That would be... My brain's so fried. 48,000, yeah. Sorry, y'all. 48,000 straight off of Vaki, knocking them very, very, very low on points, which could actually be a good thing, because this is all about team total, right? Your team is ahead right now. If you knock your teammate down very, very low, they can get knocked out before the opposing team can manage to catch up. So I think it could have made sense to have called on the teammate there. It also made sense to ignore it as well and try to get that direct hit off of either of them. Especially, well, I guess, no, really just either of them. Gengirl would have knocked below the 30,000. Bunpub was wareme. Oh, we didn't see the 13 orphans, but it was, I mean, we technically saw the 13 orphans. We saw the Roan button appear for the 13 orphans, but it wasn't taken advantage of. Oh, very exciting round. We have Bunpup's dealership now. This hand it's alright, mostly the Sotiles. The 7-9, it's not bad. You can find something around here. You know, really the East and the Red are the only things that are going to be helpful there. But, it's probably... Oh, no, okay, so I see. I wasn't paying attention to her discard. She is forcing a half flush, trying to get some value out. Which I think... I don't know that I would be doing that just yet. I think I would definitely be dropping the 9-mon and keeping this. But I do respect the play, if nothing else. Gengirl... Oh, I thought we might see the West come out there, and that Gengirl might call it. I'm actually surprised... Are you going 13 orphans as well? Wait, hang on. Hang on. What are you doing, Bunpub? What are these plays? You're ridiculous. You're insane. I'm sorry. Okay. I was thinking that we were gonna see the West Wind come out and that Gengirl was gonna be calling on it, getting her half flush. I don't know how to parse this. Especially like now it's gonna be very unlikely because now she has to find the last white and she now knows she has to find the last white. But it could be late in the wall, so she could still look for it. She's still pushing for this though. If nothing else, it's putting pressure on her opponents, I'm sure, who are looking at this like, oh shit, this could be 13 orphans. And when the attention's on her, they might not be paying so much attention to Gengirl over here, who has the Honitsu, possibly Toy Toy, if she can get the West, the 6, or the 5 so. We'll see if this ends up as all triplets or not. Ivaki here, I wasn't even paying attention to your hand. You are the wareme player. Your hand looks like you're going for all triplets, that you're going to be, yeah, calling that, dropping the 1 and 4 pin. So you're probably hitting Tenpai soon. But you do have to contend with this over here. And then Mandy, you're making a ton of calls. You're going open Tanyao. You're just trying to get Bunpub out of the dealership. I do wonder if we're going to see this as an all triplets hand, as an all triplets attempt at least, or as, ooh, actually, hang on, I think that might just deal in right here. Does she take it? No, okay. Ooh, there we go, that's all triplets. Gonna drop the 4, presumably? No, okay, so you keep this, waiting on the 4-7. You don't go for that value. See, I would agree, dude. But also, that often ends up being my downfall, so, you know, maybe much smarter play over here from Gengirl. The last white dragon comes out. It is now 100% impossible for Bunpup to make this. Gengirl gets this, takes double value again from Ivaki. Very solid hand. Like, it didn't end up being the all triplets, didn't have to be. This is still very, very solid. This game is tight. So now we have, what is that? We have... You're just down 600 points from the starting value, I think? Is that right? Yeah, okay, I think that's right. I think there's only a 600 point difference from the starting value, so that is going to be 80,000 minus 600 is going to be, why can't I do maths? 400. I'm very smart, y'all. Versus 80,600. And then we see the early riichi. Waiting strictly on the 7 mon, it's not a good wait, but of course, with an early riichi, it can come out, like, pretty much whenever. It can come out right there. Like, now you're in Furry 10, unfortunately. You're just looking to draw this yourself at this point. You have a good chance of it. If nothing else, this puts pressure on the opponents. Unfortunately, well, I said that you had a good chance of drawing it yourself. Unfortunately, I do see 2 of those in Ivaki's hand, so I don't think that those are going to be... I don't think that winning on the 7 is going to be too likely. You need to draw the last one. Even if these ones come out, you would be Furry 10, so you wouldn't be able to call on it. It looks like Ivaki here is going to be going for maybe 7 pairs? Maybe? We'll see how this plays out over here, because this could be a couple things. This could also be Toi Toi if you call here. If you're thinking about it. What do we have over here from Mandy? Mandy is Ishanten. Ooh, that's very interesting. Drop the 3-so, look for maybe an 8 in here. Alternatively, if you end up just picking up the white dragon, you know, you could just drop the 7, be in Tenpai, wait on the 4-pin. And Bunpup's hand... Is she trying 13 Orphans again? Bunpup. Bunpup. I respect the hell out of this. I should mention, I have to be 100% clear. I respect the absolute fuck out of this. Okay, doing that, keep the extra Dora and be able to have this nice 2-sided weight. Mandy's absolutely going to be thrilled there. So, unfortunately, no Yaku right now, but if the white dragon comes out, she will almost certainly be dropping the 3-pin and going for the 5-8-so. Or alternatively, I guess she could wait on the last 7-so. She could be reading this 13 Orphans and going, oh, Bunpup might drop a 7-so for me at some point. But no, unfortunately for the Apothecary here, Gengirl, again, her chance of winning this, it's not good. She has to draw the very last 7 mon. I don't think that's gonna work out, probably. She could. Bunpup, with whatever I'm looking at over here, listen, I gotta be real, I don't think that one's working out right now. Ivaki and Mandy are looking absolutely solid. They're able to just run away with this one. Of course, pressure is on them because of this riichi. They don't know that she's in Furry 10. So it makes sense why Ivaki's folding here. Especially with the wareme, like, you don't want to deal in. At any cost, you want to just, like, you know, you want to just run. Mandy is also no longer in Tenpai, folding as well. This could be very funny if Alice ends up, if this comes down to an exhaustive draw with Alice being the only one in Tenpai. Because these two had their chance to be in Tenpai and get those points, or more likely, frankly, to win. But they folded the riichi, which makes complete sense, and I think that that might end up costing them points in the long run. Yeah, so no matter what, we are seeing a Tenpai here from Mandy. So the points aren't actually going to change, it looks like. We might actually see a Tenpai over here from Bunpup. Maybe, with the right draw. Like, she needs exactly, no, okay. She needs like exactly the 8-so to come out right then, and it didn't. Or since she was drawing it herself, I guess she could have also gotten the 2-so that Alice ended up getting. Yeah, no, the points still remain the same. Not an amazing start for efficiency anyway for Alice. It's not bad. It's definitely not like, it's definitely not the fastest. What is good here, of course, is you have the 2 Dora, the red 5 and the standard Dora itself. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this hand ends up. I'm assuming it might just end up as a Tanyao. Then we have Ivaki over here. It's... You have this 2-3, which is fine on its own. You have this 5-6, which is fine on its own. What's not great is that they both share the 4. It loses a little bit of efficiency there, but not a ton. It's perfectly fine. It's still pretty good overall for that. This 3-4 is nice, of course. Having a pair of 9s is good. You're going to need a pair at some point. And by keeping that, you are... No, sorry. You would have needed to drop the 9-so there if you wanted to be Ishanten. No, never mind. It wouldn't be Ishanten. I'm a fool, because you need to complete these groups. Never mind. You still have a little bit to work on here, but it's not bad. Now, for Mandy, this is the South round, of course. The Yaku is visible to everyone. Everyone now knows that Mandy has something that she can go for. And it looks like she's also trying to push for a half flush as well. Trying to get... That's going to be at least 3 Han for if she can make it, which as wareme, again, could be a solid lead. See how that actually works out. And Bunpup, again, I ignore her for a second. I look over. Of course, she's going for another Yakumon, potentially. Potentially. Probably not. She's probably dropping... Yeah, she's dropping Tune here. Oh, and especially after calling that, like, the best she could have actually gotten would be little 3 dragons instead of big 3 dragons. Wouldn't have been the Yakumon. Still would have been very funny to me. I respect the absolute fuck out of Bunpup always going for ridiculous shit. It looks like there is a chance here for Alice to get a straight... It's not too great, because she has already dropped the 9-pin. And of course she is Ishanten right now, so like if she just draws the 4-mon, the 2-so, or the 5-so, then this 8 is probably going and she's waiting on the 4. Or alternatively, this 8 goes and she's waiting on these. But we do see a win from Bunpup here. It's a small win, but it is off of the wareme player. So again, that shifts the scores a little bit and now puts the Apothecary slightly in the lead. So that is going to be 82,300 for them. 83,200. Which means over here we have 76,800. Put the comma in there. Ivaki's dealership, and again, another dealer wareme. We've seen a lot of these today. I feel like we've seen more of these than we should, but maybe that's just me looking at patterns where there are none. I'm seeing that Bun Pup could be going for a half flush over there. And over here, it looks like... Okay, never mind. I was going to say it could possibly be Pinfu, but it's definitely Tanya. And she will really, really want this 6-pin. Mandy, however... Ooh, hang on. Ooh, hang on. Sorry. This hand over here, Mandy's? It could be Chitoy, could be Toy Toy. You got a pair of Dora? This is early, and you have this? What the hell is going on? Are you gonna take it? Yeah. So you're going for the all triplets here. Makes sense. Try to get that extra Dora if you can. Looks like Bun Pup again as well. I've already said earlier, trying to go for presumably a half flush with this hand, especially with that 7, 8, 9. You could have like a 1, 2, 3, a pair of 3s, 7, 8, 9, then a 5 to build off of, as well as this 2 to build off of. But let's be real, chances are you're going to be building off the 5. Over here for Gengirl, it's a very modest hand, but that's all that they really need. Again, this is South 2 right now. They're getting toward the end of the game. They are slightly in the lead, so if Gengirl can even just win this with, you know, Haku Nomi, that would be fine. Bump Up is going to be waiting on the Haku as well, speaking of. And you are going to call Khan on the 4. Huh. Trying to get some extra value there. But I don't know how well... Well, okay, never mind. You know what? That's going to work out pretty okay. Ooh, or not. I was going to say you could keep that as a 3-5. Drop this 2, and, you know, you would also eventually have to drop this 5. But, like, this 5 isn't... Okay, I'll shut up. This is going to be all triplets now. So I don't think that Gengirl is going to be getting to Tenpai. Ooh, hang on. She might be able to. We might see 3 all triplets on the table. 3 Toy Toys. And I just noticed that because of dropping the White Dragons, Bun Pup has upgraded the Honitsu to a Chinitsu, the half flush to the full flush. And of course, you know, with the 2 Dora, that's going to be a nice Hanemon, especially if they can hit off Baki, but it's not going to be able to. Mandy is going to come out of that with San Onko. That is absolutely going to put them in the lead. Take 6,000 off of the opposing team and put 6,000 on themselves. That becomes 82 to 76. That doesn't feel right. Hang on. 70. I gotta actually look at the table instead of doing math from the sheet because the sheet's wrong. So you have 60, 75, 76, 300. And you two would have 83, 700, according to that. Keep adding extra zeros. Y'all don't get those as much as you would like them. Let's see. Take a look. Is that correct? That feels correct. I should just be paying attention to these hands. Mean Dealer, let's look at this hand. That's gonna be a bit of a rough one to work with, especially with these two, especially with all these calls going on. Gengirl easily can make this into Honitsu. Like, I mean, she basically already has. I was gonna say she would really want to keep that as a triplet. Because that could have been a nice 6, 7, 8 and a triplet of 6s. But now that's going to push her farther away from Tenpai. It does let them possibly get more value here. But we'll see if that pays out. Bunpup Toy Toy, maybe, I guess? Because there's not much else you can really do with those two calls. Like, you're in Tenpai, but you don't have a Yaku because you have those 9s. So, like, this isn't all simples. I'm assuming you're going to be calling those 2s and trying to... Like, yeah, you draw your winning tile, but it's not actually your winning tile. Let's take a look at Ivaki's hand here. The only hand I haven't looked at yet. 2, 3, 4, pair of 5s. Of course, these two first groups are very, very nice. These souths are good. They, you know, she can just call in the souths, call to complete a sequence over here, and then that's Tenpai. That shouldn't be too hard. Alright, seeing the North Call from Gengirl. She is Ishanten. If she can pick up a 3-so, she'll be very, very, very happy. I'd assume probably be waiting on the Chun, on the Red Dragon at that point, instead of waiting on the 4-so. Picking up a 5-so there, that's interesting. So that then becomes a 2-3 group with a 3-4-5. This could be Pinfu, it could be Tanyao. Ivaki's got some options over there. And it looks like Bunpup's hand is sort of starting to, you know, get to a point where, like, she can win again. She would need to call on the 2-mon and the 7-mon to make those triplets. Just drop this 5-6, again, probably wait on the Chun, like your teammate, because you don't know that she's also waiting on the Chun. And Mandy here, there's lots of Dora, but the hand isn't really progressing much. Oh, Ivaki picking up the triplet. I assume probably, yeah, just drop that, be in Tenpai. Going Dama, not calling riichi. In Tenpai waiting on the 6 or 9-mon. At this point, yeah, you're going to be dropping those, I'm sure. Unless you were just worried about dealing into others, which you absolutely could be. 10 tiles left. Yeah, I think Mandy's just going to be folding at this point. I don't think that Chun is going to be leaving her hand, which is unfortunate for both Gengirl and for Bunpup. The 6-mon is going to deal into Ivaki, who can take it. Ooh, but chooses not to. The scores are close, so it makes sense to, like, not win there and try to go into all last with a bigger lead. Ooh, hang on. Are we going to see the Chun come out here? Yeah, we do. Okay. So that's going to let Alice win. Now, that is on our teammate. It's not really going to do anything other than move us into the last round. But as you can see from the scores, we are neck and neck. They are only a couple thousand points apart. So now we have... Ooh, and Bunpup's even dealer. Sorry, dealer as wareme, I mean. Let's see if she can manage to pull out a big hand here. Finding... Well, the 2-so is great here. If she can find a 7-pin, that would be great. Let's take a look at Gengirl's hand. Ooh, this is shaping up very nicely already. That's 7, 7, 8, 9. 7, 7, 8, 8, 9 shape, I should say. Very strong. If she could find like a 7-pin, she found the 7-pin. If she could find that, I was gonna say drop the 3, and then you could have a nice 5, 7, 9 that could benefit from either. Sorry, from either a 6 or an 8. But now you've halved the efficiency on there. It's perfectly fine though. I think this hand still has plenty of potential to hit an early Tenpai. And I also just realized Bunpup calling the Khan doesn't have a Yaku yet, but can easily turn this into all simples. Unfortunately, there's no value out of it for her, but it could end up giving Gengirl some Uradora. Because I'm assuming that she's going to be calling riichi. I don't see much... Yeah, I don't see much other way that she's going to be able to win this. Ivaki here. This hand is looking pretty big if it can actually, like, hit Tenpai. You're still a little bit of ways. You got the 8-mon to... like, if you could draw the 8-mon, 5-pin, the 8-pin, if you could draw any of those, that'd be fantastic. But you are a little bit of ways. You'll probably be looking at calling tiles and going for all triplets, I would imagine. Or maybe not all triplets. Sorry, I mean all simples. Maybe all triplets as well. We'll see. See a 3-so come out here, so now choosing to drop this bad 5-7 group. And over here for Mandy, we have this 6-6-7. Pretty nice shape. 2-3-4. 6-7 here. Yeah, Mandy's E-Shanten. A riichi from Alice. So this is not a hand that on its own is big enough to win. I think. Hang on, let me take one more look at the scores, but I don't think so, because that's going to be 75, 300, 70. Yeah, so the scores on the screen are accurate minus Alice's riichi. So this needs to be 3,700 for Alice. It is riichi Ipatsu, or sorry, riichi Ipeiko. If she hits Urador with it, then that would be enough to take game. But I think without that, it's going to be hard. I think without that, I don't know that she can, not just hard, but I don't think she can get that value that she needs. Up the 5-mon. Probably too dangerous to drop, I would... Well, no, because that was what you called riichi on. But also, like, very useful for your hand as well. West wind goes out. North wind, I'm sure, is going out. Question is anyone else going to hit Tenpai? I think that if Bunpop can hit Tenpai and the other two can't, then these two... Well, no, they wouldn't necessarily win it because that would be a Gariyame. Or that, yeah. The game would still extend until Bunpop manages to... the game would still extend until Bunpop manages to either surpass the first place player, who is Mandy, or alternatively gets knocked out of dealership. Okay, that is going to be Tenpai for Bunpop. And it's also dealing straight into Ivaki, who gets the Toi Toi Akadora. So that is going to be game with these two winning. Congratulations to Little Two Dragons. That was an incredibly tight game. Oh, we had so many good matches today. Y'all played incredibly. Let me... You know what? Let me hop into one of these voice chats. And see... Today is over, Reem. Today just finished. We have the losers bracket tomorrow, and then we have the grand finals whenever our two groups of finalists choose to, choose to have that. But I'm gonna see if anyone wants to hop in a voice chat and just sort of have a little bit of an interview.
You know I'm always down to yap.
Hi, Paul. How's it
Hey, what's
going?
up? Oh,
Uh,
it's going good. I'm really happy with how I played today.
hell yeah. You played well.
Yeah, there was never a moment where at least I felt like I was openly like, this is bad. The only time I actively thought I was making a bad play, and it was in service of, trying to do better, was there was a forso that I held on to in one round for like so fucking long, and then I eventually was like, fuck it, I'm pushing, I'm advancing my hand, and I knew it was a dangerous tile, and I threw it, and of course it immediately dealt in, right?
No, absolutely. Like, ugh, it happens. Sometimes you just gotta go for the dangerous tiles, for the dangerous
Yeah.
discards. Sometimes you see the extra value and you're like, you know what? It's worth it. It's worth trying, whether I actually get it or fail.
Yeah, but the team play aspect of it is really interesting because, especially early on there, in our first round game, which was not on stream, there were some moments where I was like, is it better if I let Doe deal into me here? Do I just
Right.
go Furryton and try and dig for the tile? Because like if I'm in riichi, obviously I'm trying to win at that point. But I have to like balance between like how far ahead do I think our opponents are versus how likely am I to get my tile, and sometimes the your teammate dealing in, as much as it puts you into Furryton, can also sort of act as an abort switch to just get out of a hand that seems like it's not panning out after you call reach.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Also, I should mention for stream, this is Bonzi from Baby Hands. Didn't
Hi.
mention that. Oh,
Yeah, sorry, I should have introduced myself. Hi, I'm Bonzi77. Follow me on twitch.tv/Bonzi77, where I basically only stream mahjong these days.
as you should. Um,
Yeah.
was this your first time with the 2v2 format?
This is not only my first time with the 2v2 format, but it's also my first 2v2 game in general, just straight up.
Hell
Doe and I did
yeah.
not practice at all beforehand.
um, the only ones who I knew going into it had a bit of practice were Doe and Ivaki. And
Mm.
Nano had said something yesterday that he was going to do a little bit of 2v2 practice before the tournament, so he might have played a little bit. But I think everyone else, I don't think anyone else has had that experience at all. I think everyone went into it kind of like you and experiencing, like, do I call Roan off my teammate? Do I sumo this? Do I do this? Do I do that? Trying to learn these things, like, fresh.
Yeah, literally my first tenpai that I had, Doe dealt into, and I was like, okay,
Actually,
I
let me
have
take
to
a
make a
look.
decision here.
That would have been this
And
game.
I ultimately, because it was a good weight, I didn't feel like the other two were ahead, and I didn't want to just neutralize the hand, so I was like, I can just push into Furry 10, it should be fine. And it worked out. I ended up self-drawing and getting it.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing that
It's,
now. Like, sometimes that's
mhm.
all you need. Riichi, Sumo, Dora, who gives a shit about Furry 10?
Yep. And, I'm going to explicitly call out in the second game. I was a little sad I went back and watched the clip and you didn't comment on it, but there was a hand that I went Dama, which
I felt
which
bad. Um, you asked
Krona and
me.
I have had a very yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So me and Paul, as he was just about to say, I am very like pro Dama. He is very anti Dama for the most part. At least like that sort of
Yeah.
like we play that up a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
he asked me afterward like, "Hey, were you proud of me when I went Dama?" And I felt bad because honestly I didn't notice it at the time. But when you asked me that, I was just like, yeah, hell yeah, he went Dama.
Yeah.
So I was
No, I
proud
literally
of
said
you,
because
but I didn't
we
see
were
it in the
we were in a
moment.
call. That's fair. We were in a call and I was just like, I'm gonna Dama this and Aubrey's gonna lose her fucking mind.
Yeah. See, I should have. Unfortunately, my brain has been fried
Yeah.
most of the day with doing all of this.
Yeah. No,
Um,
understandable. Understandable.
but it still makes me very, very happy that you went Dama just for this tournament, just for me.
And also because it was genuinely a very good moment to go Dama because I already had a high value hand. Riichi wasn't going to improve it unless I got Uradora. Like, and I had wareme, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't need to juice the hand anymore. It was good.
Let's see. I think that would have been this game that you would have went Dama. Do you remember if you won with that hand?
I did win with that hand, yes.
Okay, so I should be looking for one that... There you go. Is this the one?
It's gonna be that one, yeah. Nope, maybe not. No, it is, yeah. Yeah, because I'm...
Oh yeah, I just didn't have the winning weight.
And then I went on the 6, so yeah.
Rather than the actual hand. But hell yeah.
Yep.
Like, a Mangan with wareme is insane.
Yeah. No, that was crazy. It was really satisfying to pull that off.
How did you feel about the wareme for the tournament?
I'm mad. I got mad. Literally, I looked at the rule set and I was like, wareme is on, and I was like, man, fucking god damn it, Krona. But actually, but like after I played it some, I realized that it's actually really good for this format. Because
for the 2v2.
I think because 2v2 I think inherently actually reduces the volatility of the game, because you have a lot more outlets in ways that you can potentially avoid losing points.
Yeah.
So I think the wareme adding extra spice is actually something that needs to be in it to make it still feel like you're playing fucking mahjong, right?
I mean, it definitely doesn't need to be in it. I played 2v2 without it, and it's a ton of fun without it still. But I just felt that it was nice as something both to spice things up, as well as something that just, like... It spices things up, of course, value-wise, but of course because the team aspect, you know, if you have wareme and your teammate is in Tenpai, do they want to go with just a very fast, cheap hand and maybe ruin your chance at a big hand? Or do they want to let you, you know, actually get that big hand?
Yeah, at near the end of our second, our first Hanchan, Do and I realized like we're both ahead. At this point, we should just be actively trying to deal into each other the moment somebody goes into Tenpai. At that point, because we were ahead by like, yeah, literally just a 0-point hand is better than losing a hand.
Yes.
So if we think that at that point, it's okay to just sort of like maintain point neutrality and keep the game moving forward and try and win off that. And that's how we ended up winning our first game, was just a lot of like safe plays, small hands, that's why our name is small hands, and just dealing into each other and shit. I actually don't remember how much we actually dealt into each other properly, so if we look back at the replays and it's just like, no, y'all didn't deal into each other at all. But that was like the plan, at least.
I couldn't tell you from memory, but from your game that I did watch, I feel like I saw that a good bit. I definitely saw it at least once. And I was like, yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense here. Just, like, deal into each other, move the game forward. Hell yeah. I feel like I saw it a few times, but I don't remember.
Yeah, there was I can't remember if it was on stream or not, but there was definitely at least one hand where one of us dealt into each other, and it was just like a get the fuck out of here kind of moment. This is a fun format. I really wasn't sure I was going to feel about it, especially with wareme, but it grew on me really fast.
You hate fun. You hate fun rules.
I
you hate
like stability.
Yaku, you hate wareme. Man.
Hey, I like some local Yaku. Tsubame Gaish is goated.
Boring. It's funny because that's actually one that I'm slightly negative on.
Really?
I am. At least you've said before that like it is a local Yaku that you feel should be a regular Yaku, and for me, I feel the opposite of like I'm glad this isn't. Almost always, okay, so no, I shouldn't say almost always. There are a lot of situations where like you're keeping a dangerous tile to drop only for when you hit Tenpai, and this kind of really punishes that in a way that I personally don't like, but I could also see why others would like that. So
yeah, because I mean, you and I have talked about this again. Riichi mahjong very heavily incentivizes calling reach in almost every single circumstance. So I think like
in a lot, yeah.
It's interesting to be in edge cases where you're not you're not sure if the tile that you've got in your hand is safe or not, and it's like, okay, but if I deal into somebody with this, it's extra damaging. Can I tank that hit? Is that okay? Is that extra risk part of it? I think adding that little extra calculation in with the Tsubame Gaish makes it pretty interesting. But it's also, it is more volatile, which Mahjong being the volatile game it already is, you're really just balancing volatility against strategy. Like Akadora obviously adds a bunch of volatility as well, and some
Yeah.
rule sets take Akadora out to make the game more stable.
No, it definitely.
Ability and mahjong.
Was
Sorry,
it?
say again.
No, it's just like stability and mahjong.
Crazy.
Who needs that? Also, congrats, Ivaki. This is, of course, Ivaki from Tiny Little Dragons. The ones who have just made it to the, or have passed through the winners finals, I should say, and are going into the grand finals at some point. How did you feel about all this?
It's funny. I didn't show up until now because I had to get up and move around because between the games and the coffee, I was like literally shaky and had the lids ready to come down.
I was shaking a little bit last night. I was just like vibrating excitedly for the tournament.
It's like something about 2v2 is just like makes the pressure even more for me. So it's in a good way, I guess. Good in, I don't know. I like it, but it's like, ooh, I need to let my heart rest.
Absolutely.
I was in the other direction. I was vibing maybe a little bit too hard. I probably could have locked it a little bit more.
Hey, you did plenty, Fall. You played well.
I feel good about how I did.
Oh
yeah, it was.
I was gonna say
that was.
it was. My brain is so.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, sorry. I was just talking about like how I've already forgotten what I was gonna say. So you're good to continue.
Oh no. I was just talking about Bonzi's plays. Like that was a close game, and then after that was another close game. So it was like,
Yeah.
It was a lot.
I wasn't even paying attention to that. Yeah, no, I was watching both of those games. It was incredibly tight. Sorry. Tiny Little Dragons versus Baby Hands. That game, Doe and Bonzi got a very early lead. But at the end, like in the South rounds, you managed to get yourselves out of that hole, and it was so tight the rest of the game. I'm sure the pressure was on.
Yeah, just a little bit. just a little. Oh, that was a great first game too. Wow.
We had incredible games all day from everyone. Like, all of these were exciting. Sorry, I keep thinking about Bun Pup pulling both the 13 Orphans attempt. By the way,
God,
hang on. So I have to show this on stream, and actually, let me screen share as well in a second. At one point, Bun Pup was in Tenpai with 13 Orphans, and I think it was Alice that dealt into it.
Yeah,
but she didn't want to take that because that's a teammate. Now, it would have actually worked out, I think, in the favor, but I don't remember which round this was. I think that was like... Nope. Maybe like East 4? I should just go until I see a starting hand that could be 13 Orphans. Why am I not doing that? Nope.
My partner also got 13 Orphans Tenpai, but didn't run on me in one of those games.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking about.
Oh my god! It's like it was the weight tile was the one of something.
I was like, I remembered these roles being different. Like I remembered that the person who dealt in was before whoever had the 13 Orphans attempts. So that's why I was thinking it was Bun Pup and Gengirl, because Bun Pup was going for very silly hands for a lot of the tournament. It was incredible to watch. But yeah, no, I think you're right that it was probably Mandy then who had 13 Orphans at some point. Oh, that was probably this hand. No, that was not this hand. Oh, that's got to be this one. Yeah, there it is. Oh, right, that was the sumo. But you see the 1-pin discard there. I just realized I'm not screen sharing on Discord.
You good?
My brain is so fried. It is so
You're
fried.
fine.
Share screen. Riichi City. Discord? You wanna...
Discord, hello?
There we go.
It looks like I gotta take some care of some stuff around the home, so I'm gonna bounce. But thanks for hosting the tournament today, and I look forward to the matches tomorrow.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you there.
No,
thanks
thank
for
you.
thanks for playing. Thanks for hopping in for the interview.
Hell yeah, later.
Take
Later.
care.
And thanks for the game.
Yeah, you too.
But yeah, like
Okay,
this
what am I looking at?
Mandy into
Oh, God.
13 words. Waiting strictly on the one pin. I think it was like immediately as soon as she hit it, you dropped it. Yeah, because she drew this. And then literally the next turn, you drop the one pin that she needs. She took so long thinking on this, just like, do I take this? And I think it would have worked out for you. Because y'all did have the lead, but it wasn't a very strong lead. What I was talking about on stream was one possibility here is that Mandy could have like hit you with this. You know, as dealer, that's a massive, massive, massive hand. It would knock you very close to dying. And if you died, that's okay, because as long as your team total is above the average, which, you know, it would be because of this 13 orphans. It was already. This 13 orphans wouldn't have affected the scores overall, but I think that this would have been completely fine to take, but she instead chooses not to, and unfortunately does not win this hand. Who does? This one was Bun Pup. Oh. I'm so happy that today went the way that it did, because like all these matches were incredible to watch.
It was. I hope you didn't stream my ugly like 3 rounds of Hamba with like 1 to 2 on hands.
I mean,
The second game.
Hey, if that's what you can get, that's what you can get. And sometimes with those hands, like that's the way they were looking. So
It was not pretty.
no, it
but
wasn't pretty. But sometimes mahjong isn't.
Yeah, sometimes it's mahjong. I like how these tiles glow, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I love the like, yeah, the whole glow whenever you're in Tenpai with Yakuman. It's very stylish in a way that I feel that Mahjong Soul is still stylish in this way, but not as much, I feel. Anyway, though, I think I'm gonna go ahead, call it here, and go get a little bit of rest, and also some food.
Yeah. Go sleep, or eat then sleep.
Will do.
It's my prescription.
On it, boss.
I'm totally
on
a
it,
doctor.
Doc.
You can trust me.
Thank you, Dr. Ibaki.
You're welcome,
look
Dr.
forward
Bucky.
to seeing you in the finals.
No pressure, right?
No pressure at all.
I am looking forward to that, though. And thank you for hosting this. This has been, like, an absolute blast.
Of course. Like, this has been incredible for me, too. So, glad to have, like, all of my friends here. Ugh. But thank you for the interview, and thank you everyone watching on stream. I'll see y'all tomorrow for day 2, the losers bracket.
Bye-bye.
See y'all then.
Dun, dun, dun.